Number 17, Ashton Turner. Number 7, Ben Fox. And your captain of the Foxes, number 6, Ben Green. Number 18, Liam Strauss. Number 88, Tom Scriven. Number 22, Ian Holland. And number 38, Josh Daly. And now for your Sussex Sharks, number 89, Dan Hughes. Number 35, Harrison Ward. Number 9, your wicketkeeper, John Smithson. Number 34, Jack Leaning. Number 45, Tom Alsop. Number 11, Ollie Carter. Number 10, Danny Lamb. Number 53, Tom Price. Number 4, Dave Briggs. Number 7, and your Sussex Sharks captain, Jamal Mills. And number 21, making his vitality class debut, Sean Hunt. Thank you to the man of Christ Hospital Albany sticking around for a short rendition of good old Sussex 5C before we go today.
that they need to start putting performances together. They've given themselves no real margin for error in their final 9 games. They can probably only afford to lose 2 of the remaining 9. So this is a game that they need to come and win, I would suggest.
A game they need to come and win. It should be a great evening. I mentioned the atmosphere before. It's starting to build up. It's perfect weather on the south coast. I'm hoping there are plenty of Leicestershire fans that have made the trip down, maybe making a weekend of it at the seaside. And actually, something they've not had the opportunity to do before. We've spoken about this revamped competition in the Blast this year. It's split into 3 groups now, 12 games, but it means that they play teams from other groups. Of course, Leicestershire in the North group. Sussex wouldn't be in the North group, clearly. This is the first time they played each other in the Blast, isn't it?
Yes, so 2003 was the first T20 Blast season, wasn't it? So this is the first ever meeting. There's a few of those 3 in this season's T20 Blast. We had Yorkshire against Gloucestershire on Sunday, and then Kent against Worcestershire, which is coming up, are the 2 others that have never played before. And it is great. I'm sure Adrian probably agrees. It has got a little bit dull, actually, going to the same places year in, year out, when there are so many fantastic places to visit. And the fact that Leicestershire have never been really I've never been to Taunton, will have never been to some of the great southern cricket grounds to go and play cricket. I mean, the only opportunity you will ever get is in a quarter-final, isn't it, to go to the South Group. So I think it's a very good thing and a very good part of this revamped tournament that they've been able to go to slightly different places. And this is a fantastic ground, we should say. It sort of mixes the best quaintness of English cricket grounds with, you know, what you need from a modern day county and professional venue. It's a really wonderful place. It's not massive, but it has retained all of its character, which you can't say for some of the other bigger grounds.
I wonder if you take it for granted, Adrian, being here most weeks.
Do you know, I think that we do, and when visitors come down here, such as you could self, everyone says, this is lovely, it's by the sea, and you've got the sun. It's not always sunny here, but no, it's a lovely place to come. And I would say the ground is immaculate. Ben Gibson and his team do a wonderful job, and there's probably not a better outfield in the country than here. It really is magnificent conditions, so no excuses for poor fielding here. What I would say, picking up on the point that Adam made, they are relatively short boundaries, particularly straight of the wicket as well. So if you're looking at sort of par scores here, or a score to put sides under pressure, you know, you're really looking at 180 plus to put sides under pressure here.
Well, based on what we've seen so far, Adam, that means Leicestershire need to be much better in the power plays, both with the bat and the ball, than what we've seen.
I suspect Leicestershire need to get Sussex out cheaply here. They've stacked their side with bowlers and all-rounders, so they have the variety in their attack. They'll probably have 6 or 7 of the guys who can bowl tonight, so their aim will have to be, I think, to get Sussex out on the cheap and be able to put them under pressure with the bat. I think they may struggle to chase down a total of 190, 200. And it looks like, is that Ashton Turner who's going to start us up?
It does look that way. Ashton Turner has ball in hand. So just for listeners on BBC Radio Leicester right now, if you are listening on FM and you would like to continue listening to the cricket, then what you need to do is switch to a DAB radio, or you can find us on the BBC Sport website and app on FM. Letitia George will be with you very shortly. Just running through the permutations, I mentioned these 2 teams in separate groups. Leicestershire in the North group, of course, Sussex in the South group, both bottom of their respective groups at the moment. So as we've been saying, 2 teams both in desperate needs of wins. It'll be myself and Adrian taking you through. In fact, Ashton Turner is getting us going already from the C end which is defended away. But you have a choice of listening, as I say now, if you would like to continue with T10 to 20 Blast action, which has started ever so slightly before 7 o'clock as Ashton Turner comes in once again. This shot again defended, another dot ball. If you'd like Letitia George, though, stick with 104.9 FM. If you'd like us and the cricket, the BBC Sport website and app, or head over to a DAB radio. So, Ashton Turner in for the 3rd ball of the opening over, and briefly Sussex look to go for a single. They choose against it. It's a 3rd dot ball in a row from Ward. Ashton Turner, he impressed against Lancashire with the ball. He was tight with the ball. He then impressed with the bat as well as he comes in once again. That one flicked onto the leg side. Ben Green fielding at mid-on. He misses his intended target, but it's been backed up nicely, and Ashton Turner retrieves the ball. I don't know about you, Adrian, it took me a little bit by surprise, the start of this game.
They started slightly early on the scoreboard. It still said 18:59 as we got underway, so they didn't quite wait till 7 with the women's game, which was a terrific game earlier on today, won by Leicestershire off the last ball. They actually waited until dead on 3 o'clock, but I think we went a minute early.
Yeah, in comes Ashton Turner once again to a left-hander. That is Hughes who drives it nicely. It's the fielder at long off who runs around the boundary to collect, setting off for the single. It was almost the opposite with the women's game. They were ready to go with about 3 minutes to spare, I think, and they were just stood around twiddling their thumbs. It felt like a bit of a bit dramatic, making them wait all that time. And then in the end with the men's game, they sneak on, and Ashton Turner, ball in hand, ready to go for his final ball of the over, and they rush in, do Sussex for a single. There is an overthrow, but thankfully from a Fox's perspective, the batter running into the sea end had overdone things slightly, so didn't have time to turn around. And as I said was happening at Lancashire, Ashton Turner nice and tight with his opening over, not too expensive, just the 3 runs from it. Sussex, who won the toss by the way, elected to bat, put Leicestershire into bowl. They have started off at 3 runs from the first over.
Yes, they certainly have, and as we were saying, Sussex with those couple of changes, Sean Hunt coming into the side, Ollie Carter into the side, as well as a replacement for Henry Crocombe and for James Coles, both on England's Lions duty up at Leicester today. Sussex wanting to put behind a very, very poor performance at Southampton on Tuesday night. The fielding described by Paul Firebrace as being the worst in his time at Sussex, and it's not winner takes all here, well, loser takes all here, because both of these sides desperately need a win in this game. They're not out the competition. In comes Josh Davey coming in to bowl the opening over from the Cromwell Road end, slants across the left-handed Harrison Ward, who I think was thinking for a wide, but the ball goes through into the safe gloves of Ben Cox, and there is no run. So Sussex Sharks 3 without loss. A game here today against Leicestershire, then Kent the visitors on Sunday, before we have the break halfway through the competition, as Adam and Jack were saying, that the less games this season, just the 12, and I think actually that's been well received generally. And it's nice to play some other teams as well. I completely agree. Davey on his way down the hill from the Cromwell Road end of the ground, bowls to Harrison Ward, who's forward and punches this down the ground. They've picked up a single, but that's all they'll pick up. Sussex, as Ward goes to 3 and Sussex to 4 without loss in the second over. Floodlights on. Perversely, we don't really need them because it's a glorious evening here on the south coast. Lots of blue sky around.
I think it's such a good point about playing other teams. It's interesting. Me and Adam are off to cover the rugby tomorrow, and we often say with the Prem as well, with the rugby just 10 teams, you find yourself playing the same teams over and over. It's similar with the T20 Blast. It's great to be here at Hove to see them play Sussex.
4 men saving, 1 on the offside, 3 on the leg. In comes Davey, bowls to Hughes, who takes a step down the wicket and eases the ball away through backward point. A fielder comes charging in off the backward point boundary to field. Not a very good throw, nonetheless, just a single to Daniel Hughes. One of the features of Sussex in this competition has been the failure to build on really good starts. Down at Hampshire on Tuesday night, they were 67 off 5 overs and 5 balls, and then lost 10 for 79. A collapse of monumental proportions saw that lose that game, and again against Middlesex here last Saturday, where they lost 6 for 29. In comes Davey, bowls to Ward, who punches that down the ground. That's a lovely shot by Harrison Ward. Overpitched by Josh Davey, and Ward, just beautiful timing, straight back down the ground for 4 runs, the first boundary of the night. And Harrison Ward, who top scored for Sussex on Tuesday with 40, is on his way again. He's on 7, the Sharks 9 without loss.
Yeah, really lovely shot that. It's interesting talking about Sussex having good starts and not building on them. You have to say it's been the opposite for Leicestershire, really, getting themselves into a bit of bother at the start of innings and then having a bit too much work to do to recover. Ironically, the good start against Lancashire, they nearly threw away.
Davey. In again, down the hill, bowl, short, pulled away, and he's going to get caught. No, he's not. That's gone all the way for 6. Well, too short from Josh Davey, and he pulled that. I think he got all of that, to be honest. Harrison Ward. There is a fielder at deep square leg, but it went probably about 10 yards to his left and carried over the rope. So the first maximum of the evening goes to Ward. He goes to 13, and the Sharks to 15 without loss. Harrison Ward, who came into the side for his first game of the competition on Tuesday. Tom Clark, who has been opening the batting, injured in the match against Middlesex on Saturday. So Ward so far making the most of his opportunity. He's on 13. Davey comes in, final ball of the second over of the evening. He's in and bowls, and Ward drives to mid-off, and he's going to move on here. Throw comes in, misses the stumps. Ward was quickly across the ground. It is the end of the over, and Sussex are 16 without loss, with 13 coming off that over from Josh Davey.
Yeah, really contrasting opening overs. Brilliant one from a Leicestershire perspective, and then an expensive opener from Josh Davey. As you say, Ward with a couple of nice boundaries. 5 runs for him, I believe, will take him to 1,000 in his Blast career. And actually his 50th innings with the bat in the competition. And already a couple of nice shots, as you say there. One that I think there's a group of tables over there with parasols and enjoying a beer in the sun. I think they maybe shouldn't relax quite as much as they were there. They need to be on guard if Ward's going to continue shots like that, as Ian Holland takes over bowling duties from the CN. That one is sent to the exact same position we were just describing from the opposite end, but along the floor. It is a 4 from Ward, and that was a lovely drive onto the offside. That takes him on to 18. So, if my maths is correct, 999 runs in Blast history for Harrison Ward.
Nice shot.
It was a really nice shot. Ian Holland passed the umpire, his second ball of the evening. That one, not quite the same connection from Ward. It's fielded with relative comfort from a Leicestershire perspective. And Leicestershire will just want to calm things down ever so slightly. Adam was saying beforehand they could do with restricting Sussex. You were saying, Adrian, that Sussex tend to have these bursting starts.
Yeah.
Leicestershire just don't want to be in a position where they need to go gung-ho too early with the bat. As Ian Holland comes in, that one again driven nicely, fielded though by the man on the offside just inside the fielding circle. Of course, just the 2 fielders outside the circle in the power play. They're both on the leg side boundary currently, just to our left.
Just a finish for the day in the Test match. Jack, New Zealand 36 for 3, needing 218 to win tomorrow.
Wow. As Ian Holland comes in to Ward once again. Well, that one's in the air. It is going to bounce, though, in front of those 2 men out on that leg side boundary. As I mentioned before, it was, for a moment, there felt like a little intake of breath from...
Yeah, I think he was a little fortunate there, Harrison Ward, if I'm being honest. It was only a couple of yards short of the fielder coming in from deep mid-wicket.
That England 226 second innings score suddenly looking massive in the context of the game, as Holland is in once again. That one driven straight down the ground. The fielder's not going to be able to get there. Lovely shot. It's over the fence just down in front of us, pretty much directly in line with us, and a combination of Ben Green, who is forced to jump over a fence and go into the crowd to retrieve the ball. Him and Ashton Turner alongside him. It was Turner that looked most likely to prevent it, unable to, and Hughes gets his first boundary of the evening. It takes Sussex onto 25 with no loss.
Yeah, it's always very difficult to stop the ball at this end of the ground. Once it gets past the infield rolling down the hill, it generally goes for 4.
Holland in once again. This one driven nicely onto the leg side, straight to the fielder though. That will just be a single. Yeah, we saw it a few times in the women's game earlier, didn't we? As you say, it can look at times like the fielder is running a bit slow, but actually, as you say, it's just the momentum that the ball gets. It's actually quite unfair on a field. Imagine if I was running after a ball just gaining speed like that. It must be so demoralising as you see it head away to the boundary.
The band that played before the match was the Christ Hospital band. That's a school near Horsham in Sussex, an independent school. And I think a lot of the band are now taking their seats in the stand at the far end, the blue seats at the far end of the ground, and they were entertaining the crowd before the match.
They were very good.
They were indeed. It is going to be Ben Mike, so the fourth bowler for Leicestershire. 26 without loss are Sussex. Mike coming in from the Cromwell Road end of the ground. It means he's bowling down the hill, the floodlights on, blue sky above, and Mike is in bowl short, and Ward looks to pull that on the leg side. Kind of a combination, I think, of maybe a bit of glove, bit of bat, dribbles out onto the onside. There is no run. He rather missed out there, Harrison Ward. That was a short delivery, and he was looking to swing the ball away onto this relatively short leg side boundary. He picks up a single. He goes to 19, and Sussex to 27 without loss.
It's interesting, the change of bowler again. We saw that in the first couple of games, I think. Certainly the first game against Worcestershire, lots of chopping and changing of bowlers, and they didn't do it quite as much. I remember Travaskis started really well at Lancashire. He seemed to settle in and got some decent figures, but change of method from Leicestershire.
In comes Mike, bowls, and Ward is up on his toes and punches that down to third man, picks up a single. He goes to 20, the total to 28 without loss. Actually, when I look at this Sussex side, Crocombe, Coles, Curry and Clark all missing tonight. All of those played in the opening game of the competition at Chelmsford. So the Sussex bowling attack, Sean Hunt, who hasn't played a T20 game before and haven't seen him this season, he's been out injured, Sean Hunt. So Sussex will want to build a big score here with some of their prime bowlers not in the side. In comes Mike, bowls and driven into the offside by Daniel Hughes. I think he dragged that into his boot, but he picks up a single. He goes to 9, the total 29 without loss. That's not to demean any of the other bowlers, but they're your primary bowlers, so Sussex will be looking for everyone to step up to the mark tonight.
Well, it could be interesting. Two struggling sides, one with multiple injuries in the batting lineup, the other team with multiple injuries in the bowling lineup. I'm not sure if it makes for low scores or high scores.
Mike is on his way, running in hard over the wicket and bowls and hammered away by Harrison Ward. He hasn't got all of that, but he's got enough of it to go for 4 runs. Little too short by Ben Mike, and Harrison Ward, as I say, looking to hammer the ball away through mid-wicket. He didn't really time it, but once it had passed the infield, and we saw in the women's match a little earlier that the outfield is very fast, despite the amount of rain we've had here over the last 2 or 3 days. The outfield looks magnificent. It's very lush, but it's also pretty quick. And Ward picks up another boundary. He goes to 24 off 16 deliveries, and the Sharks to 33 without loss. In this, the 4th over, Ben Mike is in, bowls, shortable, balloons over the head, and it's signals a wide. That was a quick delivery actually by Ben Mike, and it thumped into the gloves of Ben Cox.
Yeah, lucky that it did. It did take a little bit of a leap from Ben Cox. Luckily not too far over his head, but again, I think it was at certainly a game earlier on. I think it was Ben Mike where you see one of those just bounce over Cox and head for a 4, and all of a sudden it's cost you 5 runs and an extra ball. Yeah.
I just see Daniel Hughes just making sure Harrison Ward's aware there's been a change of field here, and now Leicestershire with 2 men back on the leg side as in comes Mike and bowls. Short pulled away well. They might have brought 2 men on that leg side boundary, but Harrison Ward has pulled it all the way over. Deep backward square leg for 6 runs. That's gone a long way. That's gone into the corporate hospitality area away to our right hand side. So a second maximum for Harrison Ward, who's carrying on where he left off on Tuesday night at Southampton. That being said, having got to 40, he was out off the last ball of the power play, and that was the beginning of the Sussex collapse. They'll be keen not to do that tonight.
These guys down in hospitality need to improve their fielding skills, though. I didn't see anybody even attempting the catch in the crowd there. Just because you're in hospitality doesn't mean you're too good to go for the crowd catch. So, Mike again. Nice buzz around the ground. He's in and bowls and hammered away. That's going to be 6 more to Harrison Ward. That's gone many a mile. That's gone over the small hospitality area. The box is on the right-hand side on the roof. And that's an expensive over from Ben Mike, and a very good over as far as Sussex are concerned. Back-to-back 6s for Harrison Ward, who stands in the middle of the pitch having a little natter there to Daniel Hughes. Sussex off to a bit of a flyer here in the power play. All I would say is to caution
46 without loss. Harrison Ward on 36. Because we've seen this before from Sussex in this competition, and they'll want to capitalise tonight. 20 off the over.
Adam, your car's parked over there, isn't it, where that ball's just gone?
Yeah, mine was parked over there the other night, actually. But I got away with it. Yeah.
As an anniversary message comes up on the board, Debs and Andy, happy first wedding anniversary. I think if you do the proper anniversary gifts, you know, gold, silver, paper and all that, I think first anniversary is message at a cricket game. I'm pretty sure that's the case.
Yeah.
That's what I've got planned for my future wife, when we get married next year.
Are you?
Yes, I am.
Oh, good luck. There's I think they're changing the ball, actually. It was hit out of the ground. Oh, wonderful. Well, that's great news. I think the first one is paper, so you need to remember that,
paper.
Jack.
I'll have a think about that. I mean, I've got 2 years to think about that. The wedding is next year, and then the first anniversary the year after that. If she's not got sick of me in the first year of marriage, who knows?
I'm sure she won't. But a good start here for Sussex. The first over only went for 3 runs, but the next 3 overs have gone for 43. But as I say, Sussex in this competition have gone off to good starts and have failed to capitalise, and I'm sure that Daniel Hughes, the more experienced of these two, will be well aware of that. He's on 9.
Yeah, well, Davey, his second over of the innings coming from the C end this time. That one just clipped around the legs on the leg side, just the single from Sussex. Hughes on that occasion.
I mean, he's only faced 7 balls, Daniel Hughes, whereas Harrison Ward has faced 18, so he's had much the majority of the strike. And I think Daniel Hughes, a lot of experience. Daniel Hughes, he's played a lot of T20 cricket, particularly in the Big Bash. Ward is the man on strike, and he's hitting the ball out of the ground, so let him keep going.
Absolutely, 36 off 18. Brilliant strike rate in the minute. In comes Davey, takes a big old club at that one, doesn't get, I think, the contact he was requiring, ended up going backwards of square on the leg side, but no trouble of a run out. He was briefly out of his crease, but managed to readjust and get him back in position as the fielder did attempt the direct hit.
As Paul Farbrace has said throughout the competition, 30s and 40s don't win T20 matches, and Harrison Ward's got off to a good start, so he doesn't need to get carried away.
In comes Davey, 38 on his back to the left-handed Ward, who bouncer. He took a swing at it, missed it. It appeared to give him a little hit on the helmet.
Yes, I thought that hit him on the helmet, in which case I'd have thought the physio would come on, but maybe that didn't hit him on the helmet. Because certainly had it done, I'm sure the physio would be coming on just to check that Harrison Ward is okay.
I don't know if I think it might have hit his helmet, but not first contact. Right. So I think he took a swing. Maybe there was, I don't know if it was quite on bat, but maybe on arm, and then sort of looped up and on the helmet. He looks okay anyway. Dot ball then, couple in a row from Davey, who comes in once again. That one is in the air. It's heading far and wide, and it's over. Once again. And that one is caught in the crowd. And that man, somebody buy him a beer. He looks absolutely delighted. He's just over the other side of the fence, just down in front of us to our right. He caught it impeccably, chucked it back onto the pitch, turned round, both hands in the air. And that is exactly what we want to see. Why are people not rushing to the bar to buy that man a beer right now?
That was a great catch. Actually, I think he was sitting down.
Oh,
Jack.
he was. We've just seen it on the replay.
Yeah,
he was sitting down, went forward, got it down on the crouch as well.
Isn't he?
Is that one of your, X-Roses? Davey comes in once again. That one's driven down the ground, and that is going to go for yet another boundary for Sussex. Josh Davey, I don't know if he sort of had to fly out of the way of that one, but straight down the ground. Brilliant shot once again, and this is looking concerning from a Leicestershire perspective. Exactly what Sussex would have wanted, though.
Well, it is, and Harrison Ward, as I say, is batting as he did down at Hampshire the other evening, but I'm just sort of being cautious here because I can't have seen this before in this competition this season.
Well, he's on 46. looking for his 7th half-century in the Blast as he takes a swing at that one, doesn't get anything on it, and that'll be a dot ball. I mean, a fascinating over from Davey, just the one leg by from the opening ball, 3 dots, but then those 2 big boundaries, so 11 off the over, and yet felt quite a controlled over for certainly 3 or 4 of the balls from Josh Davey. It's turning out to be an expensive evening for him already. 23 runs conceded from his 2 overs so far.
Listening to live cricket on the BBC Radio Leicester, BBC Radio Sussex. Adrian Harms alongside Jack Rafferty. Harrison Ward 46 or 23 balls with 4 sixes and 4 fours. And Ian Holland has changed ends. He's going to bowl from the Cromwell Road end. He's coming to bowl to the left-handed Daniel Hughes, who's 9 not out, and Hughes hits this one away firmly through the offside. That's a good shot by Daniel Hughes, because there is a fielder on that offside boundary. He's more at deep backward point, and Hughes hammered the ball away through the covers. So 4 off the first ball of the over. Hughes goes to 13, and the Sharks to 61 without loss.
You look at those bowling figures for Leicestershire at the minute: 0 for 23, 0 for 20, 0 for 10, and then 0 for 3.
Holland in again, bowls, and Hughes is forward, plays that to mid-off. That's good running by Daniel Hughes. He played it with a measure of control to mid-off and went through for the single. He goes to 14, and the Sharks to 62 without loss.
Well, the 0 for 3, the reason I brought it up is that was Ashton Turner, the opening over, and it's been very expensive ever since. Seems interesting that we haven't seen Turner again after
I would agree,
such a
actually.
successful first over.
Yeah, I would agree, because the 4 overs after that went for 54. 3 without loss after the first over. Holland is just reorganising his field, the final over of the power play, after which Leicestershire will be able to spread the field. But at the minute, there's only 2 fielders outside the 30-yard circle. One at deep backward square leg, one patrolling the cover boundary. As Holland is in, bowls to Ward, who thumps this one away, and that's going to be Harrison Ward's 50. Lovely shot, and he gets applause from Daniel Hughes at the far end of the ground. Too short really from Ian Holland, and Harrison Ward pulling the ball away through mid-wicket, picks up a boundary to go to his half-century, so he's followed up his 40 on Tuesday with 50 not out here, but he'll want to make more than that, will Harrison Ward. Holland in again, bowls, and well bowled by Ian Holland, but dug out by Ward, plays it out into the covers. 1 more to the total. Ward goes to 51, and the Sharks to 67 without loss, which is where they were on Tuesday night. I hate to be a portent of gloom for Sussex supporters. They were 67 without loss after 5.5 overs on Tuesday. And then Harrison Ward got out, and then the collapse began.
Well, it's a ball earlier, but the exact same here tonight.
Yeah. Holland in, bowls to Hughes, who thumps that into the offside. Good bit of fielding there by Ben Mike in the covers. And there is no run, so 1 ball remaining of the power play. Sussex have had a good power play. They don't need to lose a wicket here.
It's been a pretty perfect power play, you'd have to say. I mean, especially given that first over went for just 3. Since then, 64 runs from 4 and just shy of 5 overs.
So, Holland, final ball of the power play, in and bowls, and Hughes guides that one to backward point, fielded there by Rishi Patel. So, good end to the over from Ian Holland. And at the end of the power play, Sussex are 67 without loss. Harrison Ward is 51 not out off of 25 deliveries. Daniel Hughes 14 off of 11. And a chance now for Leicestershire to spread the field and get some fielders on the boundary.
And it looks like my wish certainly has been granted. Ashton Turner has ball in hand once again. Obviously, you would think the hope is now that the power play is over, they can spread the field out just to try and slow things down once again. Ashton Turner, who went for just 3 on that opening over. Ian Holland going for 10 in each of his 2 so far. In comes Ashton Turner, then from the sea end to Ward on 51, and that's down the leg side. It's signallers are wide, and is contact with the leg, so they'll get the single as well, leg by, and the umpire does signal the wide. Poor start to this second over from Ashton Turner. It wasn't just a little bit down the leg side either, it was very down the leg side. Now in again to Hughes. That one is flicked away nicely straight towards a fielder though, just the single on the leg side. Ashton Turner, of course, one of Leicestershire's overseas players in the competition this year, and he comes once again. That one just, again, knocked nicely onto the leg side. Quick shout of a second run potentially from Ward, but Hughes sends him back, just the single taken. And
this is something Sussex don't have the luxury of because of the ECB restrictions. They can't sign any other overseas.
in comes Turner. That one driven onto the offside, collected comfortably though by Ben Green, as Ashton Turner comes in once again around the wicket. That one driven straight back towards him. This time though there are fielders. Ben Micah long on, able to collect before the boundary, just the single. Leicestershire's other overseas player Nick Kelly was on the Talking Foxes podcast this week, if you want to go and have a listen. In comes Turner. It was heading towards the leg side, flicked away nicely though, and that will run for the first boundary of this over. Lovely shot that, backwards on the leg side, and frustrating from a Leicestershire perspective, you have to say, because Ashton Turner had kept things down quite nicely once again, but Ward able to add yet another boundary. And in fact, I forgot there was another ball to come because of the wide previously. There is Ashton Turner again, flicked onto the leg side, this time though collected by the fielder, and that leaves Sussex on 77 with no loss after 7 overs. We will say goodbye to Adrian for the next few overs and welcome Adam Whitty, who I think has been having just a superb time watching the start of proceedings from a Leicestershire perspective.
If someone can explain to me why Leicestershire have been going with pace when it has been demonstrated clearly that if you take the pace off it works. Ashton Turner, granted, what, there was a 6 off that last over, Jack, forgive me?
A 4, so sorry, the amount of runs was 10 off the over.
Oh, 10 off the over, well, fair enough, but there has been one over that hasn't gone for a ton of runs, and that was pace off. If they had watched the women's game earlier, they would have seen that if you took the pace off this pitch, then you don't concede many runs. The first over went for nothing. The rest of the overs have gone for stacks, and Leicestershire have continued to just follow the same pattern, and all of their bowlers have been mowed around the park.
But also as well, if you had to pick who'd been the most effective bowler for Leicestershire in the opening 4 games,
Travaskis, yeah.
Liam Travaskis.
Yep, he's got the best.
Hasn't had ball in hand at all, and fits the
over. Is it me commentating, Jack?
It is, yes.
And it is going to be Ben Green who is going to move in towards us, bowl, and that's smacked. It's clubbed over on the far side. There's a fielder chasing it. He's not going to get it. 6 more over to Cow Corner. Short delivery from Green, and it was whacked away on the leg side for 6 runs. That is another 6 to Ward. And this is dangerous stuff for Leicester. That's his 5th 6th. It's 5th 6.
I didn't want to say it before as well, but Ben Green has obviously been bowling quite expensively, hasn't he?
He comes in now, bowls. This is hit and uppishly, not perfectly timed. It's going to run away for 4 over cover. That sounded like a thick outside edge to me, but it's still crunched over the infield. There's no fielder out at deep cover, and it runs away for 4. So 10 off the first 2 balls. You're right, Ben Green's going in 11 and over this tournament.
Yeah.
But Ward is batting absolutely superbly. Pure aggression in his innings. 57 off 28. That's just the scoreboard. Yes, it has updated, forgive me. No, it hasn't updated, has it? Green is in, he bowls, driven down the ground. That might be 4 more. No, there's a fielder rushing in from long on. It wasn't quite as timed as well as I was hoping. So Ward is 69 now, not out of 31. He's picked the gaps really well. That's what's really impressed me, Ward. He has really gone for it, but he's picked his spots. He's spotted where the gaps are.
He's on 68, which matches his best ever score in the T20 Blast. So one more run, and it's a record for him.
It's Hughes who faces. He goes back and cuts this into the ground. He'll just get a single. So we've had 12 off the first 4 balls of this, the 8th over. Green bowling right arm over the wicket to the left-handed Ward. Next up, Leicestershire in their dark green jerseys and brown trousers. Black trousers. Sussex also got black trousers on and a blue top. Green running in towards us now. He bowls. Ward goes for a big heave over towards deep mid-wicket. He gets a single. And the score moves on to 90 for none. We've still got 1 ball left in the over. Ward now with his best in the T20 Blast.
Correct. It was 68 before. For context, Adrian, we were deliberating the colour of the blue on the back of the Sussex shirt. Would you agree it's royal blue?
He doesn't agree. He doesn't know. We were discussing this during the women's game. I don't think it's royal blue. Here is Green in for the final ball of the over. That is cut uppishly, and it is fielded by deep backward point there, and so that is the end of the over. Sensible batting from Sussex. That get the first couple of boundaries in the first 2 balls, and then play the singles from here on in. 91 for no loss is the score at Hove in this T20 Blast match. The run rate at the moment 11.4, and we had 14 off that over from Ben Green, which sadly is been pretty run-of-the-mill from the Leicestershire pace attack in this game, and sadly from Green in this tournament so far. And look who it is. Hallelujah. It is Liam Travaskis coming on to bowl his left-arm spin.
What I was going to say as well, obviously we've mentioned Travaskis and the fact that maybe they need a little bit of spin, but even if you are insisting on pace, again, you look at you've brought in Tom Scriven tonight. If you are insisting on pace, why wasn't he also given an opportunity?
Watch us embarrass ourselves and Travaskis get smacked all over the place here, but I do think the way to success here is taking the pace off. Scriven bowls good pace variety too.
In comes Travaskis. It is driven nicely, but it is stopped by a fielder nicely on that offside. They are going to get, it's Ben Mike fielding, they are going to get a couple of runs are Sussex as Travaskis winds up his arm. He's wearing shades this evening, and he's number 80 on his back, and left arm around the wicket, which is then driven onto the leg side, again fielded nicely. It was Hughes who's on 21 now. Ward back on strike, 69 off just 32 balls. As we mentioned, his previous best score in the T20 Blast of 68. He also earlier on tonight went past 1,000 Blast runs in what is his 50th Blast innings this evening. So a good night for Harrison Ward as Liam Travaskis comes in over the wicket. This time that is a wide, which is met with ironic cheers from some of the Sussex fans.
Clever batting that, to leave that.
In comes Travaskis once again. He swings at that one, it's in the air. Is somebody going to catch that? Johnny Tattersall's underneath it, and he does. Catches it at long off, and that is a much needed wicket from a Leicestershire perspective. The danger man Harrison Ward goes for 69, and at a time when it looked like this game was getting well away from Leicestershire, that is a much needed first wicket. Up in the air, Johnny Tattersall at long off, just down in front of us underneath it, had plenty of time to set himself and takes the catch.
It's a great knock. 69 from 33, 5 sixes in there, and he's bludgeoned Leicester's attack all over the place. It was a ferocious innings, and it has set Sussex up really nicely for a score of 200 plus. Carted Leicestershire all over the place. It's fantastic watching, really good timing, placement, but he also combined that, I think, with just sheer aggression in the way that he went about it. So leaning the new batter.
That's a 5th wicket of this season's T20 Blast for Liam Travaskis. Best figures 2 for 19 in that second game against Durham. And I'll be honest, having gone so big on saying they need to bring Liam Travaskis on, I feel like we're both pretty chuffed with that one.
Yes.
As we just wait for him to come in, he does for his fourth ball. The first one faced by Leaning. He drives it back towards Travaskis, and it's fielded by Johnny Tattersall. Long on.
Sort of bowling. Turner and Travaskis both fire it in. That seems to be relatively successful.
And Hughes now on strike. 21 from his 18 balls. He flicks that pretty square on the leg side, fielded by the man at square leg, deep square leg. And just the single taken.
I was beginning to look up Sussex's largest ever T20 blast partnerships.
Travaskis in, driven on the offside by Leaning. He takes another single.
They would have been in the top 5 if they had added 10 more runs. So
of what Sussex best blast partnerships?
Blast opening stands.
Right.
Yeah, it would have been the best was 156, but then the third and fourth were about 109, 106. So that is the end of the 9th over. Sussex are 98 for 1. They are well on course for a score of over 200 at the county ground at Hove. There's a nice hum around the ground. The marching band have all sat together on the far side in their uniforms. They've been waving the 6 posters, and there's some very merry gentlemen and ladies to our right hand side in the hospitality boxes. It's going to be Turner to bowl his 3rd over, none for 13 his figures so far. His first delivery is slow and with a lot of flight, and it's played back to him by Leaning, who is 2 from 2. He's a right-handed batter. Turner bowling right arm over the wicket. In he comes, bowls as a reverse sweep. Brilliantly! A short fine leg. It's a wonderful take, diving to his right-hand side.
It's Josh. Is Josh Hull on? No, Josh Davey.
Josh Davey taking that wonderfully. It's not a bad option, that, from Leaning, to be fair. The gap was there in the outfield, but he picked out Davey relatively well. But it's a fantastic take, diving to his right from the Scotland international. And Leicestershire fighting back now. They've got their 2nd wicket. Leaning has to depart for 2 from 4 balls. And the score, 98 for 2.
That is one of those where, actually, really clever, nicely struck from Leaning. It was just a superb catch, diving catch from Davey. What? I don't know, 95 times out of 100, that just flies for a brilliant boundary, and we're all here saying brilliant creative batting.
There was good prediction from both, I think. It was premeditated shot from Leaning, but Davey, I think, saw it coming. He moved over to his right-hand side and read that wonderfully. So, that's his... The 2 spin bowlers have got the 2 wickets. 98 for 2 is the score.
I'd be intrigued to speak to Davey about that catch, because I interviewed him. He was obviously there at the end against Lancashire, and I was all excitable and coming in saying that must have been incredible to be part of, and he was so chilled out. I feel like he'd be the same about that catch.
Ollie Carter awaits the new batsman. He sweeps first ball, and he is going to get a single down to deep backward square leg, and is off the mark immediately with 1. So Hughes 22 not out. Intrigued to see how he goes about this. He's played the anchor so far, but he's probably he is the established batsman now. I wonder whether he will start to hit out the Australian as Turner comes round the wicket, and that's a swipe across the line from Hughes. That was an ugly shot from Dan Hughes. Got 100 at Grace Road in the county championship, and then 72 in the 2nd innings at Hove. That's the 100 up for Surrey. They've done it inside 10 overs. As Turner comes back over the wicket to the right-handed Carter, he moves away from his stumps and carves this high up in the air. That is a glorious cover drive. Aerial cover drive, beautiful arc of the blade, and that races away for 4 runs. Carter, I think, is up for this tonight. He's going to go for it right from the off. Made it a half volley outside off stump, essentially, even though he probably picked that right off his middle stump. And that makes it 104 for 2 with the final ball of the 10th over. Turner, big tall man, comes in. That's a sweep. It's in the air. Fielder rushes in, but it's going to bounce in front of him, a good 10 yards in front of him. And there is a single, but Carter going for it. He's 6 not out of 3. He will keep the strike from the C end. Hughes 23 off 20. Sussex 105 for 2 in this game. The first meeting between Leicestershire and Sussex in the T20 Blast. They have never met. Of course, the North and South group previous to this competition, but they've changed the rules and the format, so you play a team from a different group, which has now been split into 3 groups. They've played Worcestershire already, have the Foxes, and now they travel to Sussex.
7 runs and a wicket in both of the last 2 overs. It was interesting, Adrian was talking earlier, wasn't he, about fast starts from Sussex and then losing their way slightly. If Leicestershire can get another wicket relatively soon, they might feel like they can do something similar, as Travaskis comes in and he's out. Is Carter. He's bowled him.
No, I think it was LBW. It just hit him right on the toe, full ball, a Yorker length. The bails are unmoved by the looks of things.
Yeah.
It was LBW.
From my position, the umpire was stood right in front of the stumps. It was difficult to see. All I saw was the appeal and then the walk and the finger in the air from the umpire. And well, what was I just saying? Another quick wicket and Leicestershire all of a sudden will feel like maybe they can turn things around. Ollie Carter, 6 runs off 4 balls. He was in for 3 minutes. He got a 4 and he's out, LBW, from the bowling of Liam Travaskis.
Well, didn't Adrian say a few overs ago that Sussex started well in the last innings and started to fall apart? It was 67 the opening stand last time. A few more this time round, but they've started to collapse again. 3 quick wickets. And 105 for 3. You'd still say Sussex are on top, and with Hughes still there, they've got someone established and in, but they're beginning to chip away.
It's Simpson in following that wicket of Carter. The Sussex
and Spin's got the wicket. Spin's got the wicket.
Spin has got the wicket. As we were saying earlier, in comes Travaskis over the wicket. That one driven straight back down the line to him. Brilliant fielding from Travaskis to prevent it going any further than the stumps at his end. Dot ball.
3 overs, 1 for 20, Turner.
In comes Travaskis to the left-handed Simpson. That one driven nicely onto the leg side. Single picked up by Ashton Turner down at long on, just down in front of us.
And 2 for 8 off 1.5 from Travaskis. I'd be getting Rishi Patel on.
It's not a bad shout as Travaskis comes in once again. That one is pulled nicely just backwards of square on the leg side. Once again though, just a single. That from Hughes, who's on 24 from 21. It's been an interesting innings from Hughes. He's obviously been in there from the start, but I feel like he's mostly been watching things from the other end as Travaskis comes in. Obviously a decent score of 21, just a single that time taken from Simpson on the leg side, but obviously he was very much at the other end for the majority of that Harrison Ward innings. He could do with picking up runs a little bit quicker, you'd think, from a Sussex perspective. In comes Travaskis though around the wicket. That one is driven nicely onto the offside. There is a fielder there though coming in from the boundary. It's Ben Mike, and again restricts it to just a single, and that is the end of the 11th over, and a pretty decent one from a Leicestershire perspective. Just the 4 runs, a wicket from it as well, and Liam Travaskis once again proving why we were saying not too long ago that he's been the most effective bowler of the Blast campaign so far for Leicestershire. At Sussex 109 for 3.
So the last 3 overs in which they have taken the pace off entirely have gone for 7, and how many was off that last over, Jack? Was it just a 5?
4.
Just a 4. So 18 runs off 3 overs that have slowed things down, and Turner will continue in the middle overs, bowling from the Cromwell Road end on the far side of the field as we see it. He's in, bowls down the leg side, and he should have been punished for that. He's got away with that, Turner. He bowled down the leg side. It was swept on the full by Hughes, but picked out Davey at short fine leg. There is no run. So the run rate has dropped below 10 for the first time today. And Turner, who's bowling right arm round the wicket to the left-handed Hughes, is in, bowls. This one's wide outside the off stump, and that has been signalled a wide. Spraying it a bit, Turner. I think that one was deliberate because Hughes was trying to move away from his stumps, but he just overshot a bit, and he comes again. Bowls, full toss, clubbed down the ground. There's a fielder out there, and he's taken it. A 4th wicket for Leicestershire, and Sussex crumbling a little bit here. They started off at a rampant pace, but have lost 4 wickets in the last 4 overs, and are now 109 for 4. And just beginning to lose their way a little bit are the Sharks. And it is the established batter, Hughes, who has to depart for 25 off 24. And the score, 109, sorry, for 4.
And exactly what you were saying about pace isn't working. You need to bring on spin. Since that, it's been 2 overs each from Travaskis and Turner, or we're in the second over from Turner, and there's been a wicket in each over and limited runs as well. Just 7 for Travaskis, then 7 for Turner, 4 off the last over for Travaskis, and currently just a wide, the only run scored in this over for Sussex.
The issue is once they run out of slow bowlers, which is why I suggested Patel, because they're going to have to bring pace back on. Turner, 4 balls left in the over, bowls a straight delivery on an off-stump line. It is guided away on the leg side. It's fielded out at deep mid-wicket by Nick Kelly.
Yeah, for casual fans of Leicestershire, Rishi Patel, bit of leg spin from him last year, bowled in just 1 T20 Blast match, though, getting the single wicket from for just 7 runs.
Simpson, the new batter, he waits and he drives at this to short cover. There is no run. This is 200th T20 Simpson. He's got 3,300 runs, and he goes back and pushes it off the back foot, put the teeth in, out to deep cover point. And he moves on to 3 from 5 deliveries. Allsop in. Former Hampshire man waits. Bat raised at head height, and that's clipped away to mid-wicket where it is fielded. And a single is added to the total. So we have just got 3 off that over, 4 off that over. There was a wide, wasn't there, from Turner. So 113 for 4 is the score. And Sussex slowing down and losing wickets. So they've lost wickets in the last 4 overs, and those last 4 overs have gone for 7, 7, 4 and 4. 113 for 4 is the score. And that run rate dropping down to 9.5. They were going at a rollicking old pace of about 12 just a few overs ago.
Well, it's interesting you said about them potentially running out. They have got Travaskis on for what is his 3rd over, I believe. Yes, so another one to come after this one. In he comes, flicked just on the leg side, fielded at long on by Ashton Turner, just a single taken. So Simpson and Allsop in for Sussex, just the 3 runs apiece so far. And Travaskis looking for what would be a 3rd wicket of the evening for him. That one flicked around the legs by Simpson, fielded though comfortably, dot ball. And suddenly it feels like Leicestershire are in a solid position, having been completely behind the pace. That is driven nicely on the offside, fielded by Johnny Tattersall at long off, running round the boundary. Does well actually to keep it to just the single.
There is the impending return though. This is the 3rd over for Travaskis, is it?
Yes, and Turner has had 3 so far as well. Travaskis in reverse sweep. That one though straight to a fielder within the circle.
Turner's been bowled out 2 for 24, so he went to run a ball. But Travaskis has 1 over after this.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Turner's opening. over, as that is driven once again from Travaskis. That's from Allsop. This time they are going to rush back for a second run, and that gets appreciation from the crowd here in Hove, down on the south coast. Live cricket on BBC Radio Leicester. We were saying, as boys from Leicestershire, if you're on the coast, you have to get excited about the fact that you're on the coast. Travaskis in once again. That one again flicked onto the leg side by Allsop. Just the single taken that time. So another decent over from Liam Travaskis, who has been very impressive with the ball so far. Just 5 runs from that over.
So Ben Green is going to bowl the 14th over, as the big screen has just put up a sort of just a view of the hospitality boxes. Everyone's giving a wave there. Where's that?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Where I'm trying to look at specifically where it is.
A few craft ales enjoyed in them, I'm sure. So it will be Green to bowl right arm over the wicket from the Cromwell Road end, who will run in towards us and bowl to Allsop, who's 6 not out of 6 deliveries. In comes Green, bowls and back goes Allsop, and clips this to mid-wicket. And this is a key part of the game, I would say. They've nearly bowled out all of their spin bowlers, Leicestershire. So you'd imagine Travaskis will bowl again, and they have tightened it up over Sussex. You'd probably say they're now aiming for something like 180, but with their run rate slowing as it has, that may be tall order. And that's a swipe across the line. They will get 1. That's wonderful fielding from mid-wicket out there, who run in and then with the side arm whipped it in to stop the second.
For context, after 8 overs, they were 91 with no loss. So they've added less than 30 runs in the 5.2 overs since then.
Green it is, past the umpire. He bowls, and that's a hoik across the line, and that's wonderfully stopped again by Tattersall. It is out there at deep mid-wicket, who I think has been involved from every ball this in this over. Just 3 runs so far. Sussex beginning to get a bit frustrated now. They are not finding the boundary, but that was a diving, tumbling stop inches from the boundary rope at mid-wicket. Don't need any other fielders at the moment. This is a game being played between 3 people, as Green, one of them, is in. Bowls full. That's smashed down the ground. That should be 4, I think. That's straight as a dart down the ground. There's very little you can do about that. Well timed. It's a full ball from Green, and it was dug out and crunched down the ground for 4 runs.
It's the first one since the 5th ball of the 10th over. And we're at the 4th or 5th ball of the 13th. So just shows how Leicestershire have done well to restrict the heavy hitting from Sussex.
Simpson waits, 9 not out. Green in, and that's a leg stump delivery by Green as Simpson moved across his stumps towards the offside to try and whack it over the leg side. He times it into, just sort of flicks it wristily square of the wicket, and Travaskis fields. The score is 126 for 4. Leicestershire don't have a great record against Sussex. They have won just 1 of the last 8 in all competitions. Had a one-day cup game. Green, mustachioed and mulleted in. That is smacked over short cover, and it's not going to be 4 because it wasn't timed as well as I initially thought. It's hit the bottom of the bat, I think, that.
Well, I'm going to hand things over to Adrian, who was a very happy man when he took off his headset after 7 overs. Be intrigued to see his thoughts at the 14 over stage, with Sussex not going at quite the pace they were.
It's BBC Radio Leicester, BBC Radio Sussex, live here at Hove for the first meeting in the T20 Blast between Leicestershire and Sussex. And I'm proud of myself, Adrian, because as you took your headset on and I put it on in its place, I said, why are they not bowling the slower bowlers? They did that, and that has slowed Sussex up. I'm interested in your perspective on that from a Sussex.
Yes, absolutely. I think I was also saying as well how Sussex has started so well in this competition, and the middle order really hadn't fired, and that's been the case. It's very important here for Sussex that Tom Allsop and John Simpson build a partnership and give something, really a decent score to defend. As in comes Holland, bowls to Simpson, who clips this one away through wideish mid wicket. They've taken one, they'll think about two. Tom Alsop is like a hair between the stumps, and he comes back very quickly. And Simpson picks up a couple of runs. He goes to 12, I think that's going to go to, and the Sussex to 130 for 4. In this, the 15th of the 20 overs. Holland back to his mark. Comes in again to John Simpson, and Simpson is bowled! Leg stump out the ground. He was yorked, John Simpson, and a wicket goes down. And this has very much been a feature of Sussex during this competition. As I was saying, they go to a terrific start tonight, 95 without loss. That wicket goes down, all of a sudden 130 for 5.
Yeah, and Sussex in a bit of trouble. That was a wonderful ball by Holland. He is a pun not intended, a wily old fox is Holland. He mixes up his lines, his lengths, his paces, he bowls cutters, and that just looked like he held that back a bit. And it was a fantastic Yorker. He's bowled really well, Holland, in this competition. Went a 4.5 and over against Lancashire, and he's carrying. He went a bit heavy, expensive in his first over, but that wicket has put Sussex in trouble, hasn't it?
It has. Well, the new man is Danny Lamb, formerly of Lancashire. This is his 3rd season at Sussex. But you're right, from a position where Sussex looked as if they'd be looking at, in excess maybe of a couple of hundred, their sights may be set a little lower now with 5 wickets down. Floodlights taking effect as in comes Ian Holland. Over the wicket bowls to Lamb, who drives back down the offside of the track. There's a real spring in the step now of the Leicestershire fielders. Holland fielding off his own bowling and trots back to his mark. Lamb retakes his guard. Tom Alsop with him, so a left-hand, right-hand partnership for Sussex as Holland is in. Bowls to Lamb, who has to play this to backward point, and caution the name of the game here for Sussex, because they won't want to collapse in a heat to come. Tom Price, who is a final rounder, came from Gloucestershire in the winter. Then Danny Briggs, Tamal Mills and Sean Hunt, and without being in any way disrespectful to those three, they're primarily bowlers, and Sussex will be wanting these two and Tom Price to post a decent score here. As in comes Holland, bowls. Lamb's got away with one there, a big thick inside edge that could have gone anywhere, not least onto his stumps, but they pick up a single to backward square leg. One more for the total, 131 for 5, and a big responsibility here on the shoulders of Tom Alsop, who batted very well here last Saturday in the game against Middlesex, making 43. Sussex need more of the same here from Tom Alsop. He's got 3 men though on that leg side boundary. There's Holland makes his way in from the sea end of the ground. Bowls to Alsop, who swings that onto the leg side. That's a good shot by Tom Alsop. There are 3 fielders on that leg side, and Tom Alsop bisected 2 of them. The ball's raced away for 4 runs, and a welcome boundary for Sussex at the end of that over, with Sussex 135 for 5. 15 overs gone, Alsop on 14. Lamb is on 1. Listening to live cricket on BBC Leicester, BBC Radio Sussex. Adrian Harms and Adam Whitty guiding you through the action on a lovely evening here at Hove. It's getting a little chilly looking at the crowd. I think people are sort of reaching for their fleeces and jackets, rather more than shorts and vests this evening.
I presume you can get that with the sea air, can't you? Get a little bit blustery. Yes, I noticed when we popped out to go and get our dinner that it was a little bit chilly for a June evening. That's just the second boundary, by the way, since the 10th over. So 2 boundaries in 5 overs for Sussex. They're 135 for 5, and it's going to be Josh Davey who got talked about a bit in his 2 overs so far. 2 for 23. He's going to run in towards us from the Cromwell Road end. He's up to the wicket, he bowls. It's a straight delivery that is defended by Lamb.
You could bring Jack again.
Yes, I know. Yeah. He's just offered everybody tea.
Yeah. Well, the women's game was a good game, wasn't it? Went right to the wire, and this has got sort of the feeling of a game that might go similarly.
I had a feeling it was going to be it was going to run away from Leicestershire when they were 94 for no loss, Sussex, but they've dragged themselves right back into it. Here is Davey, past the umpire now, bowls slightly straighter on a leg stump line, and it's guided away towards mid-wicket, where it's fielded by Scriven, who we haven't seen bowl yet. I know, I can understand why. I've been ranting and raving for the past 15 overs about the use of slower bowlers.
You've got Leicestershire cameraman down here just to make the point about it being chilly. He's now got his bobble hat on.
He has, in June.
I do remember a game here in June once before, a T20 game, when Chris Gale was playing for Somerset. And we commentated outside because Sky were here, and it was absolutely freezing.
Davey runs in towards us. It's a swipe across the line, down the ground. A bit of a baseball shot that from Allsop, and the non-striker, well, Allsop's sent Lamb back from the non-striker's end, so it will be Lamb, who's 2 from 5.
Tom Allsop is key here for Sussex. He's been playing over in the Big Bash, and it's all about T20 cricket. And if he stays, Sussex could still post a defendable score, but a lot depending on Tom Allsop.
Sun setting around as the floodlights on, as Davies here bangs this in. That's going to be a wide. Surely no, says...
Yes.
Oh, yes. I was going to say it was a delayed response. The umpire looked to the square leg umpire there to have a look. Seeing as it went over his head, I was surprised there was any debate about it at all.
No, I agree. It'll take a bit of time. There were a few groans initially because it seemed like he wasn't going to signal a wide.
It's an interesting field, though. There are no men on the boundary on the offside, unless I'm missing something, which I'm not.
There's a sweeper.
Oh, there is. This is the problem. They blend into the background. There is one man out in the deep on the offside at deep cover, and that's a hit high, but only high and not far. Cox is waiting under it, the ball swirling in the sky. It's a diving take. It's a wonderful take in the end from Cox, and a 6th wicket falls for Sussex, and they are falling apart a little bit here against Leicestershire. From 95 for no loss, they are now 136 for 6. And Danny Lamb has to go from 2 from 6. And when you look at where we are in the innings, Adrian, 6 balls, to eat up 6 balls, just get 2 of them. And, well, it's not even holing out, is it? It's holing up to Ben Cox, the wicket-keeper, who took a decent catch in the end.
Well, I did say that Sussex have had this habit this season of getting good starts and just really throwing it away. So from 95 without loss... to 136 for 6, so they've lost 6 for 41. From that was in the 9th over that Harrison Ward was out. They've completely lost their way, and it's really important now that they post some sort of, because 138 isn't defendable here.
Tom Price is the new man in. Davey bowls, that's down the leg side, which went underneath the attempted pull from Price first up.
He was in very good form, Tom Price, signed from Gloucestershire in the winter, in the early part of the county championship season. He made runs up at Grace Road, made runs in the first 3 games, and then injured his ankle in an innocuous chase around the boundary at Headingley, and hadn't played since until the T20 at Hampshire. So he hasn't had a lot of cricket.
Davey to bowl the penultimate ball of this over. We've had 2 wides in it. In he comes. That's a straighter delivery on an off-stump line, and it is whipped off the hips by Price. He gets off the mark, but what we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 runs off the over. I think it's always good when a man counts live on air, don't you? But we've got 1 ball left in this, the 16th over.
Thank you to Jack for the tea.
Yep. Don't talk about yourself like that.
Yeah. It's a Liverpool FC mug.
Where's that come from?
I have no idea.
Final ball of the over then. Davey in, driven, but not well timed. It does beat the infield, and it goes out to long off. They're going to go 3 for 2 here. They're in trouble if it hits, but it doesn't. That seems to slow up in the surface, that throw in. But either way, it didn't reach Davey in time. and Price was comfortably in at the non-striker's end. That is the end of the 16th over. 142 for 6 is the score. How many was off that, Adrian?
7 off the over.
7 off the over. It's not enough, is it? So from a Sussex perspective, so as I say, the last few overs from the 10th over, 4-4, 5-10, 7-7.
I mean, from here, if Sussex were able to score at 10 and over, get around 180, that's a defendable score here at Hove. But the danger is here in trying to attain that 10 and over, you lose a couple more wickets and Sussex are all out for sort of 155, something like that. They must make sure that they get a defendable total here.
Seeing Leicestershire as I have this season, I think Sussex would win with 180.
Well, Liam Travaskis is back into the attack. He's bowled very well as Travaskis. He's coming around the wicket to the right-handed Tom Price, who heaves that one away to the leg side. That's a good shot by Tom Price. He's going to pick up a boundary. There were 2 men guarding the leg side boundary, a long on and almost a cow corner, and Tom Price picked his spot and placed it, almost bisected the 2. That's a good shot by Price. And a boundary that Sussex needed right at the start of the over. It puts a little bit of pressure onto Liam Travaskis, who's bowled really well here this evening. 3 overs for 16 with 2 wickets before that boundary.
Just in the slot that, wasn't it, from Travaskis, which is rare from him.
Price goes to 5, Travaskis in again, bowls, cut away by Price, picks up a single as the fielder comes in off the cover boundary in field. Throw on the bounce to Ben Cox, just a single to Tom Price. He goes to 6-1, 47 for 6 as Tom Alsop, the left-hander, surveys the field. Much debate about there. Ben Cox, the wicket-keeper, involved. Liam Travaskis is going to bowl over the wicket to Tom Alsop. 3 men inside the circle, wide of the off-stump, hammered away by Alsop. That's a good shot. That's going to be 4 runs. There's a little bit too much width there from Liam Travaskis, but Tom Alsop was onto that in a shot and belted the ball away through the extra cover for 4 runs. Nothing much that Ian Holland could do about that, diving away to his left-hand side. So 9 off the over, which is much better over for Sussex, and the 150 up as well. But Sussex need a few more than that. 151 for 6. Travaskis in again, bowls to Alsop, plays it onto the onside. He's very quick, as I say, Tom Alsop, but that's just a single fielded in the outfield by Tom Scriven, I think that was. Came racing into field. Did you throw that left-handed, Tom Scriven?
Yeah.
But he bowls right arm, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought I had to double check to see what the right person. In comes Travaskis again, drilled down the ground by Tom Price. It will only be a single though, fielded just down below us by Ashton Turner. 1 more to the total, so 11 off the over. 1 ball to come, 157 for 6. Travaskis just pauses off 3 or 4 paces. Left arm around the wicket wide of the off stump, and he beats Tom Alsop, taken by Ben Cox, who just for good measure whips off the bail. So that's the end of Liam Travaskis' work with the ball this evening. 153 for 6, so a better over for Sussex with 9 runs coming off of it. 3 overs to go. Sussex still, I think they need another 20-25. I think you want to be getting around 180 on this ground. I know the Leicestershire side are a little short of batting, but the likes of Rishi Patel, Ashton Turner, who batted very nicely against Derbyshire a couple of weeks ago, Johnny Tattersall, Ben Cox always seems to get runs against Sussex. So I think Sussex still needing a good 20 or 30 here.
2 for 27, Travaskis. Davey, 1 for 30 off 3. In comes the Scotland international. It's a low full toss and he's glanced off the ankles, and that's well fielded by Rishi Patel, who tumbles and spins as he gathers the ball off the floor. The single added to the score. 154 for 6. Alsop on strike now, who's 22 not out. I thought he batted the last over really well. Clever shots, well timed, limited risk and well placed. It will be the left-handed batter with Davey, who's going to stay over the wicket, holds the ball in front of his chest and moves in now, bowls, and he moves across his stumps, does Alsop. Now that's always a tricky one, that, when the batter moves right across his stumps. and is essentially batting probably on off stump at best, and you fire it in down the leg side. Not by much.
It didn't miss the leg stump by very much either.
I think, by the letter of the law, I suppose it's correct.
All right, yeah.
But
it is slightly galling for the bowler,
yeah.
I do get that.
Because if he'd stayed where he was, it wouldn't have been a wide, I suspect. In comes Davey, up to the wicket, bowls. That's driven off a Yorker length outside off stump. It's just going to be a single. There's no way there are 2 runs there, gentlemen, so I wouldn't try it. And Alsop is on to 23 of 16.
That's a good point here at Hove, because generally speaking, to run 2 here on relatively short boundaries, you've really got to get your skates on. It's very difficult.
We've got long off coming up to Price here. Got fine leg, deep backward square leg, deep mid wicket as Davey rushes in, short ball, and that is hooked away over towards deep mid wicket, and there is a single. So they're putting long on out for Alsop and bringing in the fielders out in the deep behind square on the offside to Alsop, who's of course a left-hander, which suggests they want to bowl fuller to Alsop and shorter to Price. So it is Alsop who waits. 23 not out, 3 balls left in this over. That's a huge hit, that's 6. Sort of sweep off the pace man, and did that crunch into the old scoreboard there?
I think it cleared the clock tower scoreboard.
Wow.
If it didn't, it's been returned.
It came back very quickly. That was the only reason why I thought it may have
maybe
hit.
it did. Maybe it hit the top of the tower, but it was a big hit from Tom Alsop.
Right on the half volley, swept a slog sweep off the fast bowler through mid wicket. That's a great shot. 29 Alsop moves on to. We've got 9 off the over with 2 balls left. Davey kicks up his heels now, up to the wicket, bowls, low full toss rather, and it's driven down the ground. There's a slip, and there might be a run out chance here. No, there won't, because it wasn't a great throw that comes in from long off to the left-hander, and it was wide of Davey. So even though there was a slip at the striker's end, Alsop had come herring down, hadn't they? But
I hope Tom Price is okay, because he suffered this ankle injury up at Headingley, and it just crossed my mind that he slipped and went over. I mean, he looks okay, so fingers crossed.
Davey thunders in now. He's up to the wicket. That's a massive hit, high up in the air. There is a fielder underneath it though at deep mid wicket, and drops it. That is a howler. Goodness me. And right in front of the crowd as well. They will be giving him a huge amount of stick. Who is the fielder?
Was that Tom Scriven?
Well, that replay of that. It was a big hoik high up in the air. That is as deep fielders in the deep go, an absolute dolly. And that is not what they needed. Price gets a lifeline. He moves on to 10 and will keep the strike. Wow. Well, the replay didn't give me anything. The cameraman was focusing on something completely different. The end of the over either way, 165 for 6 is the score. 18 overs have gone, and that was a criminal drop really, wasn't it?
Well, it's a big drop, because as I say, if one of these 2 goes, then you are down to the tail. In comes Ian Holland to bowl to Price, who hammers that one away. 3 extra cover, they've taken 1. They'll think about coming back for 2. They are coming back for 2. Tom Alsop very quick between the stumps, as I've said a couple of times, running to the danger end. So the throw actually went to the far end to keeper Cox, but Price was comfortably home for a second run.
180 looking on, Adrian, now, isn't it?
I think Sussex will be disappointed if they don't get 180 now. 167 for 6, 11 balls to go. Holland again. In and bowls to Price, who hammers that one down the ground, down to long on, fielded by Johnny Tattershaw, who slightly fumbles the ball, but it didn't cost Leicestershire a run, and did well to recover and got the throw away quickly. 1 more to Price, who goes to 13, 168 for 6. Now, 3 men guarding that leg side boundary for Tom Alsop, so there's a single here certainly. if you play your cards right, playing it onto the onside, you might be able to scramble back for 2. We shall see. Holland in and bowls and hammered away from Allsop. Is that going to be caught? Oh, it's dropped again. It's the same fielder. It's run away for 4 runs. Well, it was clipped by Tom Allsop onto the leg side. I think is that Tom Scriven?
That was Scriven, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's 2 drops. Well, Tom Allsop got lucky there. Tom Price got luckily in the earlier over. So 2 big drops because, as I say, Sussex are down to the bowlers once these 2 are out. And that could be really important. 172 for 6. Holland in again, bowls to Allsop, who's beaten outside the off stump, taken by Cox, and there is no run. Well, nobody means to drop a catch, and if it was Tom Scriven who dropped the first one, and I think it was, you've got the crowd right behind you, and it's never easy. However,
first one definitely shouldn't have been taken. That was a harder chance, but still,
yes, it was
taken.
Yeah. Holland in again, bowl short, pulled away. Now is this going to be caught? It should be caught at fine leg. It is caught, and Tom Allsop goes. And in fact, Tom Allsop was just querying whether that ball was over shoulder height. The umpires have decided it isn't, and Tom Allsop goes. And he'll be disappointed about that, because if Sussex, were to get 180, 185, it needed Tom Allsop to stay there. The new man coming in will, I would imagine, be Danny Briggs. So a wicket goes down. It's been all action, isn't it?
It has been all action.
I don't know who took that catch down at fine leg. Was that Ben Mike who's all the way down?
It was Rishi Patel.
Okay, thank you.
I can see what he's saying also about that shoulder height today.
He just queried it with the umpire, didn't he? He just had a quiet word in the umpire's ear.
It's always difficult when you go for it, when you go for the big shot and get out and turn around to the umpire and go, well, that was surely a no ball.
So the new man is Danny Briggs, who's got a stack of experience, the highest wicket taker in the history of the T20 Blast, but he's needed here to see Sussex through to a defendable total. 172 for 7. Holland in, bowls to Briggs, who clips that one around to the leg side. They've taken 1. I don't think they'll get back for 2 because Tattersall is very quick across the ground. That's good fielding by Johnny Tattersall, who's fielded very well for Leicestershire, very quickly in, prevented anything more than a single. So Briggs will keep the strike. 1 over to go. The Sharks were 173 for 7. Tom Price on 13. Danny Briggs on 1.
So what do you reckon here? 182, something like that?
Well, I think Sussex would be pleased to get there, having got themselves into a real pickle at 135 for 5. But on the other hand, having been 98 without loss, I think they'll feel that 95 without loss, but they might be a tad disappointed.
High white cloud beginning to come over at the ground at Hove. There is still plenty of blue sky poking through. The floodlights beginning to take over though on the south coast. As it's going to be Ben Green to bowl the final over of this innings. 173 for 7 the score. Green is in. He bowls a brilliant Yorker and knocks the leg stump of Briggs out of the ground. Perfect Yorker that. Briggs didn't really know what to do with it. I think he ended up one-handed at the end, and he has gone for 1 off 2 deliveries. And his leg stump went tumbling around the place there. So 173 for 8 the score, and I guess Sussex just have to be careful that they either don't get bowled out or this doesn't sort of subside in the final over.
Yeah, totally. And I mean, Tamal Mills coming out to bat on. I thought the key is here you just knock the ball onto the leg side for a single and get your man who's been batting and is the man who's in, Tom Price, who should be out, by the way, because he's been dropped. But to get him on the strike. So I don't think we'll see Tamal Mills trying to launch one into the stands here. Still 5 balls to go, and 2 or 3 boundaries gets you to sort of the mid-180s, but if you don't...
Mills has a look around and now waits. Bat raised at hip height. Green is in. That's a full toss. He has smacked that one over towards deep mid-wicket. There's a fielder running round and doesn't get there. And there is 4 from Mills.
That probably deserved to go for 4, didn't it?
It was
horrible full toss.
A hip height full toss. And you're right, I suspect Mills probably thought that he'd try and get a single there, but seeing as a freebie was offered, he decided to take it.
He did.
And that's not Scriven again out there at deep mid-wicket, is it?
Poor old Tom Scriven.
Just didn't quite get to that. 177 for 8. 4 balls left in the Sussex innings. Green in, short ball, and it's ducked under. They go through for a run. There's going to be a run out here because Price ran right through to the striker's end, and Mills was ball watching there, and I think he apologised to Price, didn't he? Because he should have been focused on the run and what would have been a bye because a wide wasn't called. So Mills is run out for 4 off 2. 177 for 8 for 9 now the score.
Yes, he did, and Tom Price did exactly the right thing, because there was a run. If Tamel Mills had gone, but he was rather standing rooted to the spot, and Tamel Mills suddenly realised. In fact, he realised suddenly that he needed to be the one that went, and just walked up the wicket and said, "Yeah, you know, I'm out," and leave Tom Price with 2 balls to face. Sean Hunt is the new man who's coming in for his T20 debut. I haven't seen anything of Sean Hunt so far this season. He's had a wretched time with injuries. We'll be seeing him no doubt bowling his left arm seam, but still 3 balls to go here. You know, Sussex don't want to waste this final over, and they're in danger of doing so.
177 for 9. Green, broad-shouldered, comes in, bowls a slower ball. That's hit high up in the air. There's a fielder running in. Third time lucky, surely. No, it bounces in front of him and goes past the fielder at deep mid-wicket. And that's Scriven again, ball blown.
Yeah.
That one less his fault. That one, no, he was expecting to bounce up in the pitch. I'd imagine the people of Brighton and Hove are giving him a miserable...
Went to the same school as Tom Price, actually, did Tom Scriven, yes, and James Coles.
179 for 9. 2 balls left in this Sussex innings. Price, 15 not out, waits. Green bowls, that's hit high up in the air. There is a fielder at long on who is underneath this and takes it, and Sussex are all out for 179. What a curious innings that from Sussex, who started off like a tracer bullet. They got to 94 for, was it 95 for no loss, forgive me,
95 for no loss,
95 for no loss, before then subsiding somewhat and ending up 138 for 6. There were some decent cameos towards the end from Tom Alsop, more than as much as anybody, with his 34 not out. It was Harrison Ward. ...180 to win as both last.
So Leicestershire's chase of 180 to come shortly. I'm going to come to you, Adrian, because you obviously watch Sussex every week, and when they were absolutely smashing it about during the power play, and me and Adam were getting very worried from a Leicestershire perspective, you were very calm and said, okay, well, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Sussex have had it happen plenty where they've got off to fast starts and then it's gone slightly pear-shaped. Have we seen simply more of the same from Sussex this evening?
Yeah, I'm afraid we have. I think when you're 95 without loss and going on as they were, to end up, you know, with 135 for 5, 142 for 6. Yet again, the middle order has completely fallen away. And I know there are players missing from this Sussex lineup, but really with that sort of a start, it just needs someone to come in and play sensibly, knock the ball around, which is what Tom Alsop thankfully did for Sussex. That 34 runs were really important. I think it's got Sussex to a reasonable score. I think it's a score that is not necessarily a winning score. We'll have to see how Leicestershire bat, but I think when you get that sort of a start, you're looking here at Hove getting over 200.
Yeah, and we mustn't forget there was 3 wickets in the last 5 balls there, Sussex. That was a curious innings from them. 180 is not a score that Leicestershire have looked like getting close to so far in this T20 blast. What the opening night, they sort of got close to that against Worcestershire, but not at near enough pace. That is the target for them, and as we have previously discussed, they look undercooked and under strength in their batting. So I am intrigued to see how they get on. There's a lot of pressure on Nick Kelly and Ashton Turner, their overseas players, but I must credit Leicestershire bowlers who dragged that back from a bad position. The issue was that, you know, they were shown by the first over and by the women's game actually that came before that taking the pace off works. The first over went for 3 and then they persisted with pace for the next 5 or 6 overs, got smacked all over the place.
That was curious, wasn't it?
And then as soon as they went back to Turner and Travaskis, the runs stopped and the wickets started coming. So I think you've got to query some of the tactics there from Leicestershire that have allowed Sussex a really good platform.
Very quickly before we hear from Nick Kelly, Adam, was it Adrian said there about Allsop effectively helping Sussex get to a reasonable score, having looked like it was going to be big, then looked like it wasn't going to be. Could Leicestershire regret those 2 drops?
They cost what in the end probably about 8-9 runs maybe.
I was going to say probably about 10. Yeah, maybe a dozen runs.
So yes, perhaps is the short answer to that, Jack, because they were at a very important part of the innings, and that takes it from 165 to or 170, let's say, to 180, and that could be all important come the end.
Leicestershire chase of 180 to come shortly here on BBC Radio Leicester. As the halftime entertainment is about to start, there are a couple of inflatable apples that I think people are going to race in, those big zorbing balls. While we wait for the Leicestershire innings, let's hear from the Talking Foxes podcast, shall we? It's your place to go to get all the analysis, insight and interviews from the Foxes camp. At least one episode a week. We will have reaction to this game and every other T20 Blast match as well. This week we spoke to Nick Kelly. A big pressure on him tonight to come in and score runs without Sol Budinger and Eskenazi in the team. Of course, Leicestershires overseas player in all 3 formats, regularly played the anchor role. He's been vital to their Blast campaign so far. I spoke to him before this game about how he's found joining the team later in the season. Perfect. That should be hopefully about right. If not, I'll run through the other sports headlines. Are you happy with that plan post match then? I think it's just technically the easiest thing, because otherwise, if we're trying to run and get live interviews, then you risk going over the news. And B, if I am going to have iRig troubles, it's probably better that I realise that not live. So, realistically, this is going to finish, probably pretty much on 10 o'clock. If you look at the women's game, that started at 3 and finished pretty much on 6 o'clock. So, actually, it might be that Adam has to wrap up straight away anyway. Oh really? What, did we go off or? Adam says he thinks that might just be the way he talks. I'll switch to this headset. I just said to Kezi watching the cricket, not even thinking about my commentary, and he was like, yeah, got it on mute. I did hear you at the start though. I was like, oh, how's it sounded? Although probably not good if you've muted me. And he was like, I didn't mean it like that. So I've spoke to Dale and said that I'll do what we said, because actually there's a chance this could pretty much finish at 10 o'clock. But either way, if it finishes at 10-2, if you guys, I mean, if it finishes at 10-2 and it's you guys chatting, we can use that for the pod, can't we? Yeah, I hadn't even thought of that. So doesn't need me involved, does it? But we'll see. Basically, it'll be based on timings. If it finishes at 5-2 and it's just you and Adrian wrapping things up, we'll record something. If it finishes at 1:45 and you talk for 15 minutes between the pair of you, then we'll use that and whatever interview I get. Thanks, mate. Leicestershire's overseas player Nick Kelly there speaking to me on the Talking Foxes podcast this week. You can hear the full interview by searching for that on BBC Sounds. Leicestershire's target then 180 as they chase down Sussex, looking for their second win of the T20 Blast campaign so far. Are the Foxes, as are Sussex by the way, they won 1 of 4 so far as well. Theirs came in the first game of the season. Leicestershire's came in their last game away at Lancashire. And the two Leicestershire openers are out, and as was the case at Lancashire in the week at Old Trafford, Ben Mike is out to open for the Foxes. It was suggested by their team sheet that it might be Johnny Tattersall, but it does appear to be Ben Mike. He came in and opened, as I mentioned before, against Lancashire, got a decent 21. And it'll be Hunt with the first ball of the over from Sussex, and that is defended by Rishi Patel, who is out there with Ben Mike.
Well, it's good to see Sean Hunt back in action for Sussex. He's had a dreadful time with injuries, and this is his T20 debut. And this, with Sussex are so short of numbers. I mean, it's not an excuse on Paul Farbrace, and indeed Sussex would never use it as an excuse. But to come into a match of, this is an important game for both counties. So it's a big occasion for Sean.
Yeah, in comes Hunt once again to Rishi Patel, who pulls that nicely onto the leg side. Is it going to dribble away for a 4? It is. It was just over the head of one fielder. It was then chased by a couple right to the boundary and just had enough pace on it. Probably, Adrian, what you were telling us earlier about that slight slope coming our way probably did it for Rishi Patel.
Yes, it did. I mean, he didn't get all of that by any manner of means, did he, Rishi Patel? But once it goes over the infield and runs down towards the boundary, it's very difficult to stop.
Hunt in once again then to Rishi Patel on 4 currently. Just defends that away to the offside, and they sneak in.
Well backed up.
Yes, it was a good single. It was thrown in with pace at the attempted run out, but as you say, risk of an overthrow prevented by the backing up of one of the fielders there.
Well, certainly Sussex without James Coles and Tom Clark, who are very, very fine fielders. There's some older legs out there, put it that way. But that was a good bit of backing up by Tom Price, because that could have easily have gone for overthrows.
Ben Mike then to face his first ball of the evening, opening the batting with Rishi Patel tonight. In comes Hunt to Ben Mike, who pulls that one square on the leg side, just the single. And interesting decision from Leicestershire. Of course, if you're not aware, without Sol Budinger injured in that game against Lancashire whilst fielding on the boundary, and without Stephen Eskenazi as well, it was announced due to family reasons he'll be missing for both games this weekend. Of course, Leicestershire hosting Yorkshire on Sunday. as Hunt comes in once again. 5th ball of the over. That one hit high into the air by Rishi Patel. It's not quite reached the boundary, but a 1 bounce for Patel to take himself onto 9.
Yeah, well, it was a little too short, and the power play probably can't afford to bowl there to Rishi Patel. Tamel Mills is just going to have a quick word to Sean Hunt. As I say, not easy when it's your first game of the season coming into to play a T20.
Yeah, Rishi Patel to face the final ball of the over then. That one edged, but it could run away to the boundary. It's not going to on the offside. Fielded well by the man out there. And Rishi Patel, 11 for him in that opening over. Ben Mike just the 1, 12 for no loss. Leicestershire fans will be hoping to see a confident Rishi Patel. We know how good he can be in these circumstances. But a little bit quiet from him in the first 3 games, but he got a decent 40 at Lancashire last time out. Hopefully he can build on that. 12 for no loss though at the end of the first overall, Leicestershire.
Well, much depending for Sussex here on the experience of Tamel Mills, who's going to bowl the second over of the innings down the hill. Danny Briggs, who's got this fabulous record in T20 cricket. Danny Lamb as well. They are going to be absolutely key for Sussex here tonight. I'd imagine that Tom Price will bowl as well. I mean, maybe Jack Leaning's going to bowl a bit of spin, we shall see, but imperative that Lamb, Briggs and this man Tamel Mills bowl well for Sussex. And it is Tamel Mills racing in down the hill, hits Ben Mike on the thigh pad. The ball bounces out onto the onside, and it is a single. Leicestershire goes to 12 without loss in the second over, needing 180 to win. As we've been saying all night, both sides with just 1 win from 4. I mean, you're not out of the competition if you lose tonight, but it probably means you've got to win something like 6 out of your last 7 games. And in T20 cricket, that really does take some doing.
Yeah, the reduced schedule meaning losses do feel more damaging, don't they?
They definitely do. Mills with a skip and a jump is on his way in down the hill and bowls, and Patel works this onto the onside. They take 1, they'll think about taking a second, but the second run isn't there. Patel goes to 12, 14 without loss. I remember last season Hampshire coming here with sort of 5 games to go, and our colleague at Solent, Kevin James, said to me, well, we're out of this if we lose tonight. Well, Hampshire won, they went on a roll, they won 4 on the spin. They got a quarter-final that they won. Next minute you're at finals day, and the same happened to Essex a few years ago when they came here. So it can be done. I know we talk about momentum in sport, but it really is true in T20 cricket with games that come so thick and fast. You get on a losing run. The same is true. In goes Mills. Bowl short, pulled away to the leg side. Oh, it's gone over the head of Sean Hunt. It's going to run away down to the boundary. Good sliding stop by Sean Hunt.
Lucky boy, Ben Mike.
He was lucky, wasn't it? It went over the head of Sean Hunt, who's here at short fine leg. He's gone away for a couple of runs. 16 without loss on the Foxes. Yes, he was lucky. He looked to pull that one away. It was a top edge, and it rather ballooned over the head of Sean Hunt, who's fielding there at short fine leg. The 2 fielders outside of the 30-yard circle are at deep backwards square leg, and down here at third man. Mills makes his way in down the hill from the Cromwell Road end. Bowls, and that's down the leg side. Simpson dives across, prevents it going for more wides, but it is a wide. So it'll be an extra ball.
Ben Mike doesn't seem to have quite got into his groove yet. He came in, it was a score of 21 against Lancashire when they'd obviously lost Sol Budinger mid-game, so knew that they needed runs on the board, and he came in, got them quick and then got out. Doesn't seem to be quite in the rhythm he was the other night at the moment.
Not easy though against Tamel Mills. Down the hill, floodlights on. Bowls to Ben Mike, who skews this one off the bottom of the bat, fielded by Sean Hunt, coming in from fine leg to field. It's a dot ball. Mike remains on 3, Patel on 12. Leicestershire 17 without loss in the second over, needing 180 to win. After Harrison Warder made 69 for Sussex, an excellent opening stand for Sussex of 95. And then they rather limped their way, Sussex, to 179 all out. Mills pauses again. Hush descends on Hove as Mills is in, bold, and Mike drives down the ground. Nice looking shot. He's going to pick up at least one and possibly two. There's a slight misfield. In fact, it was a good bit of fielding initially at mid-on, but the ball rather skewed away from the fielder. I think it's Daniel Hughes.
I think they could have been a bit more brave there. I know you don't want to do anything silly, and maybe because Ben Mikes is used to being lower down the order, that played a part, but once the misfield happened, I think it was pretty evident the second was there, and Rishi Patel was already on his way to try and make it happen.
18 without loss. Patel faces Mills, who's in and bowls, and Patel hammers that one away. That's a good shot. A little bit too much width from Tamel Mills, and Rishi Patel was onto that in a flash, and he belted the ball away through backward point for 4 runs. So another good over for Leicestershire, who are off to a good start here. 22 without loss, 11 off both of the opening 2 overs. At the same stage, to give you a clue, Sussex were 16 without loss.
Yeah, lovely shot that from Rishi Patel, who, as I say, Leicestershire fans will be hoping he can get into some sort of rhythm, having got 40 last time out. Sorry, I've stolen your phone charger, I think, Adrian, haven't I?
Don't worry about it. Suddenly it occurred to me, I thought, oh crumbs, I'm running out of charge.
I'm an iPhone fiend. You see a charger lurking around and you go and take it. As Hunt comes in once again. That is up in the air. That is an opportunity. Ben Mike's going to go here. I think he is. It's caught.
I think that's Jack Leaning who's taken the catch.
Yeah, it was edged high into the air, and on this occasion the Ben Mike experiment opening the batting hasn't paid off from a Foxes perspective.
Good catch actually, because that did go a long way up in the air, and well done Sean Hunt from a Sussex point of view, who's back in the side tonight. Yes indeed, it was Jack Leaning who took the catch. And having got a good start, Sussex will be pleased to have picked up the wicket, and particularly Sean Hunt.
So Ben Mike wanders off, and in comes Nick Kelly, who is slightly higher on the batting order given the absence of Sol Budinger and Stephen Eskenazi. Shameless plug for the Talking Foxes podcast. Nick Kelly was on this week. I had a good chance to chat to him. It was one of those where you sort of plan to speak to somebody for, 15 minutes or so, and realise once you get into talking about cricket and his travels around the world and various things, you've spoken for about half an hour without realising. He was a very good talker, was Nick Kelly. I won't do what Adam does and describe his own interviews as being a lovely interview, but Nick Kelly was great. As Sean Hunt comes in to Nick Kelly, who just jumps out the way of that one. It was...
I think he hit him on the shoulder.
Yeah, he looks a little bit uncomfortable as he just takes a walk away from his crease, and in fact he looks more than a little bit uncomfortable.
He's dropped his bat,
Nick Kelly? He's dropped his bat.
In fact,
it's his forearm.
Yes, I think he has hit him on the forearm.
Well, given the fact that Sol Budinger was injured on fielding last week, and Stephen Eskenazi's had to pull out of this weekend before a ball's been bowled, this is the last thing Leicestershire will want, is an injury to their overseas player Nick Kelly after just one ball being faced. He's in conversation with the club physio. Rishi Patel's over there as well, as a few of the Sussex players are deep in conversation. And
yes, I mean, it wasn't that short of a length, wasn't it? And I don't know whether he just seemed to get a complete tangle play. I think he's okay, Jack. He's having a drink of water. I can see Danny Briggs is going through a warm-up exercise. He's going to be okay, he is. Nick Kelly is putting back on his gloves. It was a nasty blow.
Probably one of those impact ones that stings initially and just need to take a few moments to compose yourself. But little touch of the gloves with Rishi Patel, and in comes Nick Kelly to face off against Sean Hunt once again.
Yeah.
It was Nick Kelly's wicket the other day that started the domino effect of Leicestershire's downfall. Hopefully he can get a few runs on the board. There is a shout for LBW. The umpire doesn't appear to be giving it much time.
I think it was probably just slipping down the leg side, but he just got a bit of nip off the pitch there, did Sean Hunt. Started his career on Surrey's books. In fact, he's a Surrey boy, but came down here. This is his 4th season with Sussex. As I say, he struggled the last couple of years. Last season against Somerset, the first match of the season, he took 9 wickets, but got injured in the game, and we didn't see him until August.
Hunt in once again, this time to Rishi Patel. Takes a little step back away from his stumps, gets it all wrong though. The ball just lands under his feet. Hunt the one going to collect it, and a dot ball. So at the minute, 4 balls in, just the 1 run and a wicket from this over. Things have slowed down for Leicestershire.
Yeah, and Terrell Mills and Daniel Hughes just going up to Sean Hunt and saying, well bowled, keep it going.
It's slowed down ever since Adam texted me saying they've started well. Sean Hunt comes in to Rishi Patel. That one defended away. For a second looked like they might go for a quick single. They decide against it, and just the 1 ball left from this 3rd over. Leicestershire could do with a boundary just to keep them ticking over.
Yeah, I mean, conversely, Sussex here, if you know, the last ball of every over is so important. So often you talk about getting out of overs, but just the 1 run conceded so far.
Hunt in for it from the C end to Rishi Patel, who again defends this away. It's a no ball.
Oh, and that'll be a free hit.
It's going to be a free hit. The umpire is going to give us the lasso signal, is he?
Yes, he will.
What?
Well, I'm sure he will.
Here we go. That's what we like to see.
Well, now this is a test for Sean Hunt, because it's a free hit here for Rishi Patel, and having been suddenly a very good over, it's amazing how things can change in T20 cricket.
So Rishi Patel, free hit, opportunity to go big, risk-free. In comes Hunt. Rishi Patel goes way high in the air. I suspect, though, that is going to be caught. He'll be absolutely fine. It is caught, but thankfully for Rishi Patel, it was a free hit, so he's fine. But no runs and or just the single.
Well, actually, that worked out pretty well for Sussex, really. I mean, you never know what can happen with free hits. However, 25 for 1 at the end of the 3rd over. At the same stage, Sussex were 26 without loss, so pretty much even Stevens at the moment.
Well, considering it was 22 for no loss at the end of the 2nd over, just an over later, just the 3 runs and the wicket. But remember, Sussex had their opening over for just 3 runs, so doesn't mean it's all over for Leicestershire.
Terrell Mills racing in down from the Cromwell Road in bowls to Patel, who plays without timing into the covers, fielded by Danny Briggs, and there is no run. 25 for 1, so it's getting a little measure of control here, but I said really important these overs from Mills. Briggs to come as well. A little bit of bonus with that over from Sean Hunt. Mills back to his mark at the far end of the ground.
Made his county championship debut at Grace Road, did Mills, for Essex back in 2011.
Great stat. He's in now, over the wicket, bowls, hammered away.
Lovely.
That's a lovely shot. That was a beautiful shot by Rishi Patel. That's the 2nd time he's played that shot to Terrell Mills. Just a little bit too much width outside the off stump. He just stood and smashed the ball away through backward point for 4 runs. That was a good shot. I don't think it was that bad a ball, to be honest, but it's absolutely belted away by Rishi Patel. And he picks up another boundary. 29 for 1. Patel goes to 21 off just 13 deliveries. Terrell Mills has changed the angle of attack. He's now going to come around the wicket to Rishi Patel. Danny Lamb has gone a little finer here at short 3rd man. As Mills is in again. Around the wicket, bowl to Patel, who's hit this straight. Oh, I thought he'd hit that straight to mid-off. But he hasn't. He's hit it past mid-off, and it's raced away for 4 runs. Back-to-back boundaries for Rishi Patel, who's motoring through the gears here. That was a good shot. I thought for a moment it was going straight to the fielder at mid-off. But it went past that mid-off field. I think that's Daniel Hughes up there. 4 more. Patel to 25 off 14. And suddenly Leicestershire 33 for 1 in this, the 4th over.
His 5th for Rishi Patel. It was one of those, I agree, it looked like it was heading straight to the fielder, but you can almost tell that the fielder isn't even thinking about getting the catch. It looked like one of those, didn't it?
Mills in again, bowl, short pulled away. Now is he going to get caught at mid-on? He should get caught, and the wicket goes down. And Tamil Mills gets his revenge. It was short. Rishi Patel looking to pull the ball away, may have taken a little bit of pace off, and Rishi Patel has pulled that ball straight to mid-on. He goes, and having got off to a terrific start, Rishi Patel will be disappointed with that shot. Nonetheless, he is on his way. It's a 2nd wicket for Sussex. I said that Tamil Mills would be really important for Sussex tonight, and so it's proven. He's picked up a wicket, and it's Johnny Tattersall who makes his way to the middle. I didn't see who took the catch. We'll wait for that to come up on the scoreboard in a moment.
He'll be disappointed with that Rishi Patel, especially with Sol Budinger missing, Stephen Eskenazi. You needed Rishi Patel to get in. It was caught by Price.
Tom Price.
But to come in and have a match-winning innings, one like that of Harrison Ward, that if Sussex go on to win this game, we will be saying that is because of the batting of Harrison Ward. Leicestershire haven't really had any of those kind of innings so far this season. They really could have done with Rishi Patel stepping up in the absence of others. Gone for 25 though.
So the new man is Johnny Tattersall, formerly of Yorkshire. Mills down the leg. Oh, what a take that is by John Simpson. That is terrific. It's a wide, but it was a really good take by Simpson, because that could quite easily have flown away. It was a quick delivery as well for 4 wide. Sussex got the slip in place. Jack Leading is in there. This over has, well, there's been a wicket, but it's cost Sussex 9 runs. The same over in this, was bowled by Ben Mike in the Sussex innings, waiting for 20 runs. So these 4th overs have been expensive. Mills in again, bowl short, and it signals another wide. 10 off the over, and that's
A couple more balls as well.
yeah. Oh, it's a no ball. It's a bit signal no ball. I think Tamil Mills is just querying what the signal is here.
He definitely signalled for a wide, or he appeared to.
He did signal a wide, and now there's some debate between. It is a free hit. Well, I must admit, I thought it was signalled as a wide initially, but it's now been signalled as a free hit. I think Tamil Mills is just waiting for confirmation of that. I'm not entirely sure why. Now, the umpire is having a long word with Tamil Mills here, who's going back to his mark. Daniel Hughes is also querying the decision, but it is a free hit. Crumbs. 35 for 2.
Let's see what
so it has been an
can
expensive
do.
over. What can Johnny Tattersall do with this? In comes Mills, bowls, hammer, well, it goes straight through him. That was a quick delivery from Tamil Mills, and well taken by John Simpson again down the leg side. So the free hit goes unpunished. I've slightly lost track of how many balls are left in the over.
I have no idea.
We've had a no ball, we've had a wide. I think there is one more ball to go, and that's a dot ball. 35 for 2, so 10 off the over so far, and a wicket. Mills back to his mark. That little hop as he makes his way in from the Cromwell, and it bowls to Tattersall, who flicks that onto the onside, picks up a single to mid-on, fielded there by Tom Price. And that eventually is the end of Tamil Mills' over, who didn't look best pleased as he took his cap and jumper from the umpire. So at the end of the 4th over, as the Christ College, the Christ Hospital band who are in the stands give us all a wave at the far end of the ground. 35 for 2 at the end of the 4th over.
So Johnny Tattersall and Nick Kelly in. Neither of them quite got going just yet, both only on the single run. It'd be interesting to see how Johnny Tattersall gets on. We only saw him in the field against Lancashire as a fielding replacement for Budinger. Hasn't batted so far as Hunt comes into Tattersall. His 4th ball he's facing. He defends this one to the offside. They run in for a quick single. Done all right in the county championship, averaging 40 and a half. He scored 112 in his first appearance of the season against Glamorgan in the county championship.
I think he's a good cricketer. I always thought he did well at, when he was at Yorkshire. I think he skipped him a couple of years ago as well. I remember being up at Scarborough. I'm fairly certain he skipped the side.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure when they in their promotion season, as Hunt comes in this time to Nick Kelly, who drives that one nicely onto the offside. It is fielded well though, diving just inside the circle, and means it will be just the single.
That was Danny Briggs, who is a very, very good T20 fielder. He's across very quickly to that. He's
a pretty good T20 bowler as well, isn't he?
He is. The most wickets in the T20 blast.
Yeah.
In fact, it wasn't Danny Briggs. I think it was Tom Price.
Hunt into Tattersall, who takes a swing at that one onto the offside. It's pretty square. There is a fielder out there though, and they run in for 2. It's nice running from him and Kelly, as I'm going to highlight the novelty again. Adrian, a seagull flies past us.
Yes. There may be a few more come for their evening chips, which are probably going to start to get discarded.
Oh God. As Hunt in to Tattersall once again. 4 to him so far. It's flicked off on the onside. They run in for just the single, and it's given a leg by, in fact, off the pad.
Yeah, my sort of my little was because I think had that not hit the pad, that would have been a wide down the leg side. So Sean Hunt a little fortunate, but I think Tim Mills will be pleased with the way that Sean Hunt has bowled here. He's got no experience really at all of playing, at all of playing blast cricket.
Hunt in once again to Kelly this time. That one is very wide.
That's a horrible ball.
It is. Got it all wrong, did Sean Hunt, and Kelly did the right thing, just ducked under it, let it go past him and accept the run and the extra ball.
Yeah, perhaps needs to try and bowl line and length here, Sean Hunt. I think he just tried something a little different there, but it could have gone horribly wrong. As it is a wide, it could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, absolutely. In comes Hunt, then a couple more balls left in this over, still 2 Kelly. That one's down the leg side again. It's going to be another wide. I mean, we were talking, weren't we, about seemed to be a high rate of wides for Sussex in the women's game earlier on, and looks like the men are following suit at the moment. That's what, 5th wide already?
Oh,
along with 2 no balls as well. In comes Hunt, 2 wides in his last 2 balls. That one's another one down the leg side, and
I just wonder whether he might be better off coming around the wicket here.
It's giving. I'm going to look to Adam. Was it at Lords in the One Day Cup final? I want to say Boswell. Is that the lad's name? I can't remember. Leicestershire lad who had an absolute nightmare, bless him, bowling wide after wide, and that one isn't a wide from Hunt.
Well, he'll feel under pressure here, will Sean Hunt. So that was good to see him bowl a delivery that didn't concede a run, but. Yeah, you're quite right. I think that's... Well, Tamel Mills bowled 2 in the previous over. I think that's 6 wide so far. Is that right? I've got
yes, I believe so. Scott Boswell. I knew I'd got it right. 2003, something around there. I think he bowled 8 wides in an over as Hunt comes in. This one off the pad. A little bit of shout. They take the single. Just looking, there's a Guardian article from 2013 that says it took 10 years to recover. Oh, it was the 2001 final where he bowled wide after wide. I remember being there, so it was 2001. I'd been 10 years older. I remember being at Lords that day, and it was remarkable. Not quite to that extent for Hunt so far, but 3 in that over have helped Leicestershire out. They got 9 off the over.
Yeah, I mean, that could have been worse for Sussex, to be honest. 45 for 2 at the same stage. Sussex were 57 without loss, but that was during the time when Harrison Ward was really getting after the bowling. So, Tom Price is going to bowl the 5th over from the Cromwell Road end, bowling his medium pacers. Sussex, I think, are quite behind the clock here in terms of time. It seems to have taken an eternity to bowl these 5 overs. But in comes Price, right arm over the wicket, in and bowls, and Kelly gets a thick inside edge. The ball ends up in the hands of Danny Lamb at fine leg, but it's 1 more to the total. Kelly goes to 3, and Leicestershire to 46 for 2. And this the final over of the power play. I wondered whether Tamel Mills might have turned to Danny Briggs for the final over of the power play, but he's keeping his spinner back. For his 4 overs, and he will bowl his 4 overs, I'm sure, later in the game. Floodlight's really taking effect now as Price is in. Bowls to Tattersall, who goes for the ramp, but it goes through to John Simpson, and there is no run. So a dot ball, always welcome at this stage. I can see Briggs now warming up, so I suspect he's probably going to come into the attack in the next over. I'd imagine Danny Lamb will also bowl 4 overs. Other than that, there's not another lot of options really. Perhaps Jack Leaning could bowl a bit of off spin if it comes to that. But in comes Price over the wicket. Bowls, Tattersall drives the ball back down the ground. He didn't get all of that by any manner of means. He's going to pick up at least 2. Good bit of fielding at the far end of the ground actually. I said you don't get many 2s here at Hove. They very nearly turned for a 3rd because both the mid-on and the mid-off were up inside the 30-yard circle. That to chase all the way back to the Cromwell Road end to field. However, 2 to Johnny Tattersall. Wasn't far. In fact, Tom Price, what he got rather overlooked on Tuesday, got a magnificent caught and bowled down at Southampton. But in the disappointing Sussex performance, it rather got forgotten. Now, another man coming up inside the circle. No, they're not. I think they were going to bring the deep backward point up inside the circle. They've decided to leave the field as it is. So, 48 for 2, in comes Price, bowls, Tattersall plays this firmly onto the leg side. They've taken 1, Carter is quickly round, they think about a second. That's a good bit of fielding by Ollie Carter. Out on that leg side boundary, got to the ball quickly, got the throw in quickly. And it's just a single to Johnny Tattersall, who goes to 7. And the Foxes are 49 for 2. 2 balls remaining of the power play.
DLS par at 52 currently, so just behind.
Yep. There's Kelly waits. Price is in. Bowls. Kelly down the wicket, thumps the ball, 4 runs. Well, I think he'd made up his mind he was going to play that shot. Did Nick Kelly. It was a good shot as well. He took a couple of steps down the wicket and he just drilled the ball straight back over Tom Price's head for 4 runs. Nothing wrong with that. That's a good shot. He goes to 7. And Leicestershire to 53 for 2. 1 ball remaining of the power play. Here at Hove, live cricket on BBC Leicester, BBC Radio Sussex.
And we hadn't seen one for about, a couple of overs, a boundary that is, sorry. It was good to see both Kelly and Tattersall finding their feet, aren't they? They're both running a runner ball or just under. He needed that.
Price in again, bowled, short, pulled away. That's going to be 4 runs. That's a poor ball by Tom Price and he knows it. That's not a great way to finish the power play. You can excuse the hit down the ground, but that was a really poor delivery. It was a long hop down the leg side, and Kelly just really had to get anything on it, and the ball flew away down to fine leg for a boundary. So disappointing end to the over from a Sussex point of view. A very good over as far as Leicestershire are concerned. 12 runs coming off of it. At the same stage, Sussex was 67 without loss. Leicestershire 57 for 2, but it was later on in the Sussex innings that they really stalled against some very good spin bowling from Travaskis and Ashton Turner.
You got it spot on though with those last 2 balls of that over. Nick Kelly, brilliant shot straight back down the ground, but then really for that last ball just taking advantage of a poor ball really. As Briggs does have ball in hand and his first action is to, I think, concede a boundary. It is, Once again, that slope just down in front of us. Brilliant shot straight back at him from Johnny Tattersall, and nothing Briggs could do. Just skimmed the stumps at the other end as it flew past, and then two fielders at long on and long off, both rushing in to try and get it, neither able to catch it once it found its way and the momentum onto the slope that was never going to stop on its way to the boundary. Tattersall gets himself a 4, and in fact his first of the evening, as Briggs comes in once again. This one flicked onto the onside, and just the single taken.
Yeah, Danny Briggs is absolutely key here for Sussex. So, you know, he'll need to bowl economically, but pick up wickets as well.
As you say, top wicket taker in T20 Blast history. Played 7 T20 internationals for England as well. As he goes left arm around the wicket to the left-handed Nick Kelly, who drives that one nicely onto the leg side. Just the single taken. The run rate required 8.7. The Foxes currently running at 9.7. 117 to win as things stand, and they're just ahead of that DLS par as well. Briggs into Tattersall this time, takes a step back towards his stumps and again drives it nicely, that time onto the offside, and just the single taken.
A bit of fielding out there by Tom Alsop, who covered a lot of ground to just keep that to a single. This has got all the makings of being a real cliffhanger, Jack.
Well, the women's game was exactly that. Leicestershire winning with the final ball of their innings as Briggs comes into Nick Kelly, who drives that one onto the leg side. I mean, it was such a dramatic end to the women's game. It was perfectly set up that for the final ball they were 1 run behind, so a dot ball meant they lost, a single meant it was a tie, and the 2 which they managed to run in and get won the game for the Foxes by just the single wicket as well. Briggs in once again. Appeals, strong appeals, and given. Tattersall is gone, LBW for 13. There was a big old shout from Briggs. The umpire took his time, had a think about it, and decided that was leg before wicket, and the Blast's top wicket taker adds another one to his tally, and Tattersall is gone for 13.
Well, it's a big wicket because these two are just starting to step on the accelerator for Leicestershire. I also saw Jack Leaning warming up at the beginning of that over, so I wonder whether he might be. I think Danny Lamb's going to probably bowl the next over. But it's time for me to make way for Adam. Forgot his name. Dear oh dear, it's been a long day. Sorry, Adam.
I like the politeness of Adrian saying it's because it's been a long day, as opposed to, you know, anything about your forgettable nature or character. Adam Whitty.
Instantly forgettable.
I'll never forget you.
Thanks, Jack. Is it me?
It is you. Ashton Turner and Nick Kelly in, obviously the pairing that sent Leicestershire on their way the other night against Lancashire. These need to have a big partnership, don't they?
And in comes Leaning and bowls, and is he going to cut away for 4?
That's
First ball, it's a wonderful
shot
from Kelly. Rock back and cut him behind square on the offside, and perfectly split the fielders there. There is a man at backward point, a man at sort of deep cover point, and a short third man, all of them beaten. And this is an intriguing chase. There's 69 for 3. Leaning, who's bowling right arm round the wicket. Back goes Kelly and misses an attempted cut. Went for the same thing again and didn't get it. So 111 to win, and they are above the run rate at the moment, Leicestershire. 9.4 and over is the current run rate. The required one is under 9, driven by Kelly down the ground.
They need these two, though, not to waste their wicket, given what we've already discussed about top order players missing. Budinger, Eskenazi. I know Eskenazi's not been in great form, but still, Kelly was in earlier than he usually would be. We just need these two to be sensible. The two experienced overseas players. Don't waste your wicket. If you take your time and get the runs at a comfortable rate, this should be job done for Leicestershire. If you don't, it could go wrong very quickly.
It's been consistent in terms of the bowling figures. No one's really been whacked around, bar Price maybe. As Leaning moves in, bowls, back goes Turner and pushes this into the offside. He will get a single to cover where it is fielded by Danny Lamb. So 109 to win. Leicestershire, who lost their first 3 games against Worcestershire, Derbyshire and Durham, but beat Lancashire at Old Trafford last time out. Here is Leaning, driven by Kelly, and he times that really well. Kelly looks in the mood tonight. There's a chase for deep cover point, who runs around and does very well indeed, but it is 2 to the New Zealander.
I hear he's feeling motivated after appearing on the Talking Foxes podcast.
That's what I've heard. One of the best podcasts out there. Past the umpire comes Leaning, bowling from the Cromwell Road end. That's a much better ball, actually. That was slow. He dragged his pace back, and that ends the over. So there were 8 off that, which is about where the run rate needs to be. They are going along at this nicely, Leicestershire. They just can't afford to lose any wickets. Sussex need to break through, I think, and get a couple of quick wickets. They're doing the right thing. They're bowling without pace. And this game very much in the balance at the end of the 8th over.
No 6s for Leicestershire yet, 9 4s. Plenty of runs from, in fact, there's been 5 wides and 2 no balls, including 3 in and over from this man here. Oh no, not from this man, it was Hunt. This is Briggs, who is whacked perfectly by Ashton Turner onto the offside, driven gorgeously to deep extra cover, and another boundary for the Foxes, their 10th 4 of the innings. No 6s yet as Briggs comes into Turner. This time he just knocks it square on the offside, no run taken. And there, Adrian warned about the Seagulls appearing for their evening chips. There is, have you seen the film Birdemic? Reverse sweep, that is lovely from Ashton Turner. That is going to run for 4. Beautiful shot to pull that out. He moved towards the leg side, in fact. Potentially looked like it was going to be a wide. Still went for it. Reverse sweep, then onto the onside. And
I hope someone clicked that up, Jack. You saying, have you seen Birdemic?
Well, have you seen it?
I have seen it,
well,
yes.
Because that looked... It's a good job I stopped talking about Birdemic, because then Ashton Turner hit a lovely reverse sweep. And if I'd been speaking about Birdemic instead of a reverse sweep, I don't think people would have been happy.
Fighting away the birds with their hangers, coat hangers, weren't they?
Kelly driven nicely onto the offside. It's not going to make it to the boundary. I probably should have referenced something highbrow like The Birds from Alfred Hitchcock, but instead I went...
I haven't seen that
Birdemic. Neither have I. I've seen Birdemic, but not The Birds. Make of that what you will. In comes Briggs to Ashton Turner. A little bit of confusion between the runners. Turner's sent back, nothing too damaging, and decent over that for the Foxes. They've taken 10 from it, including a couple of boundaries for Ashton Turner, one of which was a lovely reverse sweep. And the Foxes 83 for 3 after 8. Now it's interesting if you compare it to where Sussex were after 8. They were 91 for no loss. So you would look at where Leicestershire are and think they're not quite at the pace, but it was at this point when it all started to go wrong for Sussex. They lost their first wicket, the 4th ball of the 8th over.
It's a key part of the game. Leaning, first over went for 8. Down the pitch comes Kelly, drives, that's going to go for 4. Beat the man in the infield at cover, and through extra cover it goes for 4. And they are, Leicester, chipping away at this very impressively. Leaning, putting that on the plate really for Kelly to charge. He likes to come down the wicket, does the New Zealander. What is Leaning's response going to be? The former Kent man and Yorkshire. Bowling right arm round the wicket to the left-handed Kelly. Tucks him up for room this time, does Leaning. Bowling on a leg stump line, and he has to whip this away off his pads. He will get a single.
Can you hear the Leicestershire fans singing?
I can. Where are they, the Leicestershire fans? That Leicestershire la 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 is booming out as the sun fully set now. The floodlights have taken over. So 92 to win now, and Leicestershire well above that run rate at the moment. 10.4 overs to go. 64 balls I should say. Down the ground comes Turner, driving this on a half volley length along the floor from the full ball outside off stump. Turner moves on to 11 from 7. It's Kelly 26 off 18 who seems in the groove tonight.
Yeah, he really does. Batting really well is Nick Kelly. Looking for a second half century of this Blast campaign.
He crouches, comes down the track and goes for the same shot, but this time it goes to the fielder at short cover, and there is no run. Got a couple of big innings, has Kelly. He was the main run scorer in the win against Lancashire last week. 29 off 30. His Leaning bowls to him, and he makes room for himself and cuts it to point. There's a quick single. They go to the non-striker's end, and Kelly makes it.
Are you going for the second?
He had to dive.
No,
because he's on the floor. They would have been up for a second. Turner had run and gone for the second, and then has to backpedal because he was dawdling, but Kelly had dived, so he wasn't able to get back up and go for the second. 90 to win off 61 balls. Turner waits. Two fielders in the covers, and he guides this away into the leg side. He will look for a one. They're going to get two though. It was perfectly timed for that. There's nobody in the infield on the leg side forward of square, and so the two fielders, one of them at long on, one of them at mid wicket, couldn't get to it. So that is the end of the over. 92 for 3 is the score here on BBC Radio Leicester, BBC Radio Sussex. And so there were 9 runs off the over. That is perfectly fine as far as Leicestershire are concerned. If I was a Sussex supporter, I would be beginning to get worried now, because Leicestershire are chipping away at this. Turner 13, Kelly 27. And it's for their spin bowlers. Sussex just don't quite seem to have the answers in the same way, so I can understand why they're going to go to pace, and they're going to go to Danny Lamb to bowl the 10th over.
Leaning hasn't been used with the ball so far this season, so it does highlight the lack of options with injuries and the boys off at England Lions as well. And it will be Nick Kelly to face Danny Lamb, who goes right arm around. He takes a big old swing at that, drives it down the ground. It's fielded by the mulleted Ollie Carter at long on. We spoke about plenty in the week, Nick Kelly. We discussed him and Ashton Turner bringing stag do energy to Leicestershire. I'll explain what that means in just a sec, as Lamb comes in this time to Ashton Turner, who clubs that one onto the onside. Beautiful shot, and that runs for a 4, dissects 2 fielders. Speaking about how they've come in after 6 games when the mood is a bit flat, given Leicestershire hadn't won at all in the county championship, and how sometimes you need somebody fresh. And I said it's like a stag do where you've been out on the Friday night and 2 new lads turn up on the Saturday, as Lamb comes into Ashton Turner once again chipped away to the onside. And Nick Kelly said, well, yeah, I agree, but also sometimes those guys are a bit annoying when you're hungover and a bit flat. He said he might need to check in, make sure he's not been annoying the lads with his energy since coming in. Doing a brilliant job so far though are Turner and Kelly, but as we've discussed so much this season, important not to waste their wicket. Lamb comes in, driven down the ground. That's another nice one. That one is stopped really well though by a diving fielder, Ollie Carter, who's hurt himself there. It was a brilliant bit of fielding just down in front of us. He's on the floor on all fours at the moment, being checked by one of his teammates, who just waves over to the physio. He looks winded here, does Ollie Carter.
I think it might be a finger injury, that. I think he might have trapped his fingers on the floor, or the ball might have hit his fingers. Either way, that's what he's holding at the moment, because he's writhing around in a load of pain. He's really hurt himself. And Sussex physio has charged across the pitch. A little bit worrying. They are rolling around on the floor.
Yeah, making his first blast appearance of the season is Ollie Carter. He'll be disappointed if it ends with him not being able to help his team for the final 9 and a bit overs in the field. He's back up though. Just got his hands on his knees at the moment, being comforted by the physio. Applause for Ollie Carter. It was a brilliant bit of fielding. We've discussed so much today, both in the women's game and the men's game, that if a ball comes down towards this boundary with a bit of pace, most of the time it's going to go 4 of 4, given the slight slope. He did everything he could. He bust a gut, dived over, and maybe just took it to, I say bust a gut, maybe he took it to the gut and just winded ever so slightly.
Winding.
I suspect if Nick Kelly plays that same shot again, Ollie Carter in his current condition won't be able to reach it. As
100 up, by the way, for Leicestershire.
Lamb into Kelly, who takes a big swing at it, and I think he's out there, is he? He's been given out. He took a swing at it, got nothing proper on it. The wicket keeper was lurking though, and somehow managed to grab the ball before it hit the floor, and Nick Kelly has been caught behind in slightly surreal circumstances.
It's an unbelievable piece of wicket keeping, that is. He stood up to the stumps to Lamb, who is bowling at a decent lick, and he must have just got an inside edge, took a tumbling catch down to his side, took it right in the chest, and I didn't hear anything from where we were in the commentary box, but he's obviously just got a little feather on. That's extraordinary. It's brilliant wicket keeping from John Simpson. Fumbled in and out of his gloves, he had to fall to the floor taking it. That is a magnificent piece of wicket keeping from John Simpson, and that could be a big moment in the game. 100 for 4 in pursuit of 180, and Kelly, who was setting the tone and the pace perfectly, has got himself out there.
Well, we said about not wasting your wicket. I mean, Kelly is unlucky, really. It was a brilliant bit of fielding, brilliant bit of wicket keeping, but suddenly we're in a position now where if Cox or Turner is to go, you are then looking a bit precarious in terms of wickets lost already. Ashton Turner still there on 18. Ben Cox in now to face his first ball of the evening. He drives it nicely onto the offside, and they take a single. Was it these two against Derbyshire that put on a decent partnership that if Leicestershire were going to get back into it, it was those two that were making the difference? If we see another partnership like that tonight, it should be enough.
A 50 partnership from 40 balls would probably do it for Leicestershire. Well, it would, I would imagine. These two, it was against Derbyshire that gave them a little bit of hope. They conceded over 200 to Derbyshire, but then Turner, who got a 50, and then Cox got 30 odd from memory.
Yeah, 34.
Gave the Foxes a bit of hope, but they'd already lost too many early wickets. 101 for 4. So 54 balls remain. Leicestershire needs 79 to win this game and get a second win in a row in the T20 Blast. It could be 4 defeats in a row for Sussex.
Well, they're both averaging 31. If they can both get to 31, they'll be in that position.
Price to bowl his second over, and that's a slightly hoiky shot from Cox, playing that across the line from an off-stump line to the leg side. It's fielded by short mid wickets. Price's first over went for 12. Nice hum around the ground. Still a relatively chilly night in Hove as people settle into their Friday nights. Price moves in towards us now from the Cromwell Road end. He bowls. It's a short delivery that goes through Cox, and it's a dot ball. Went to hook that charging down the pitch and missed it. As Turner's sort of gone down to have a bit of a chat with Cox. These probably have been the best. Well, no, Kelly's probably been the best batter, but Cox has got a couple of big scores for them. It's just whether he's done it at the right pace. Certainly aggressive there as Price moves in now. Bowls. He does carve this for 4. It's a great shot from Cox through extra cover for 4. charged down the pitch again. It was a back of the leg delivery from Price, and he hammered it through extra cover for 4. So 105 for 4, 75 to win.
Yeah, it's interesting looking at those Cox scores. He got 51 not out in the opening game, which we know Alphonso Thomas wasn't particularly happy with, given the pace he went at. So arguably his best score so far is that 34 against Derbyshire, given the rate he went at and how it gave them a bit more hope. We'd like to see more of that tonight.
Price in, and there's a sort of reverse scoop attempted by Cox there, or a ramp shot, but he doesn't time that properly. So it is a dot ball as it dribbles away to backward point.
Current run rate 9, required run rate 9. Exactly.
What Turner and Kelly were doing so well was finding the boundary every over. There was 4 runs off this over, but that is it. There's been 3 dot balls otherwise. So big end to the over coming up. Price in, slower ball that's hit up in the air, but it has beaten the infield. It's racing towards the boundary. Mid-off should be able to stop that, but it looks like it's running away up the hill. It's quite some pace, and it is stopped. They come through for 3 in the end.
Good running.
And we've heard Adrian talking all the time about how small the boundaries are here at Hove. So to get 3 on this ground is important. It means Turner is on strike for the final ball. I'm intrigued to see what he'll do here. Probably look for a boundary, I suspect, but he may look for a single, so he is on strike for the next over. 108 for 4, 72 to win, 180 the target. Price, dark brown hair, comes in, bowls, slams this into the pitch, and Turner whips this away into the leg side. He's going to go for 2 here. No, he's sent back by Cox. It's fielded by the man running around from long on. And that is the end of the over. He does get the single. 109 for 4 is the score. So 71 to win off 8 overs. So 48 balls in which to get it.
I was thinking then, don't go for it. And then actually the second they didn't go for it, there was a slight misfield and they probably should have gone for it. But no point taking risks that are too big at this stage of the game, particularly with these 2 batters in, who we know, if they can form a decent partnership, can go on to potentially set up a match-winning scenario for the Foxes. Sean Hunt, ball in hand, ready to bowl his 4th and final over. He's gone for figures of 1 for 22 so far. And in he comes to Ashton Turner. That's down the leg side. That's going to be a wide. That is his 4th wide of the evening, Sean Hunt. He had 3 in one of his previous overs, and he's also had 1 of the no balls. So he's looking at figures of 1 for 16 without those extras added on. In he comes Sean Hunt. That's again down the leg side. It's another wide. I mean, I was joking earlier, mate, when I made the Boswell comparison, which was 8 wides in an over, I think, if I'm remembering rightly. It was certainly a high number of wides. We're not quite at that point, but
yeah, it's not good.
In he comes then, Hunt once again. His first ball of the over. That one is hit high up in the air, and it's going to go for a 6. There was a fielder out there. It was on the onside. It was a brilliant shot from Ashton Turner, just out of reach into that bar down there. And that is the first 6, isn't it?
I think so.
It is the first 6 of Leicestershire's chase. And it goes to Ashton Turner to take him up to 25 off of 12 balls. Brilliant shot.
Yeah, fantastic shot, and just what they needed. This over has started. The 1 ball has cost 8.
In comes Hunt once again. Turner comes down the ground to this one, drives it. It doesn't beat the fielder though at mid-off. Good work that from the Sussex man Mills. Such an experienced player, Mills. Of course, their T20 captain. He's won the T20 World Cup with England. Played in every single Blast campaign since 2012 as Mills.
Wow.
And also played in Pakistan, South Africa, India,
everywhere.
Australia, Afghanistan, Bangladesh.
He's played in Afghanistan. Oh, he's got back issues, hasn't he? Which basically means he can only bowl the 4 overs. But he is one of the best guns for hire out there.
Hunt in then. Once again, the attempted ramp from Ben Cox. Has he gone there? He has. Well, that is a really frustrating wicket from a Leicestershire perspective. Ben Cox goes for the attempted ramp. He appeared to not get anything on it, but Simpson dived down, caught it, appealed, and the umpire clearly heard something, saw something, and we were saying, don't waste your wicket from a Leicestershire perspective, and you've gone and done so with an attempted ramp.
It's a difficult one. Those shots, I think batsmen would tell you, are low risk and get results often. However, I haven't seen Cox pull off that shot a huge amount, and so that makes things a little bit more difficult. Didn't feel like a necessary shot, given that 7 runs had come from the first 2 legal deliveries. Didn't need to force the issue. And so I'm checking who's come out. Ben Green has come out, who can hit a long ball. That's certainly true, but this game is far from over. 118 for 5.
And he's struggling so far this season. Ben Green, just 16 runs off of 3 innings. In comes Hunt then to Ben Green, and there's appeals for leg before. Not given. I was wondering what that cheer was for then, because I was looking at the umpire and he definitely didn't give a wicket. Positive thinking, I think, from some Sussex fans. We need a decent innings from Ben Green here. He's got scores of 7, 9 and 0 so far. As Hunt comes in once again, he goes for the drive. It's a bit messy, but it goes onto the onside and they're able to run through for the single. It puts Ashton Turner on strike, but with just the 1 ball of this over left. They've got a decent amount of runs from it, 10 so far, but as you say, given they basically scored 8 off the first ball with those 2 wides, actually it's not ended up quite as damaging as potentially it could have been. Ashton Turner waiting then to face Sean Hunt, who swings at it. Does Turner swing and a miss, and it's a no ball.
He's having a bit of a nightmare, is Hunt.
He is, which sort of makes Ben Cox's wicket even more frustrating, because it's not like you weren't getting anything and therefore needed to try and be a bit creative. It's happening to Hunt's bowling. In he comes then to Ashton Turner, free hit for the Aussie, who takes a big swing at it down the pitch, and that is a 1 bounce 4. I thought it was going to make it all the way, didn't quite, but brilliant shot from Ashton Turner to add another boundary to what was already an expensive over. So that is then 124 for 5, 15 off the over. Is that, I think, possibly the biggest of the innings so far?
It will be for a Leicestershire perspective. They've hovered around sort of 7 to 9 for most of the overs in the innings, which has been to Leicestershire's credit, but that was a very disappointing over from Hunter. We disappointed. It's sort of feast or famine with him. He bowled some really nice stuff, but couldn't get his lines and lengths right, and that has let the Foxes right back into this. So 56 needed from 42.
It would have been such a perfect over for the time without that Ben Cox wicket.
So it's going to be Mills, 1 for 20 his figures so far. He comes in now bowling left arm round the wicket. There's a cut, and that has bounced either just in front of Simpson or it was dropped. I think it was the former, and there's a shy at the stumps. The ball hits it, and so there is a single added to the total. Did you see an umpire signal? Which means he got a feather on it. Yeah, so there's a few options there. Well, the end result is a single to Green. He's been credited with a run there. So 1-2-5 for 5. 55 of 41. Mills, shaven headed, comes in, bowls, driven by Turner. It was beautifully carved, late drive. Just waited for the ball to come to him, which is difficult when it's Tamar Mills bowling at you, but it went straight to backward point. There is no run. Yeah, Mills. A lot of Tamar Mills stuff has been coming up on my social media. He's doing like day in the life stuff, Tamar Mills.
Is he really?
Yeah, what it's like being a T20 cricketer.
Your algorithm is
beautiful. Yeah, there's a lot of old vintage cricket videos on my algorithm. Here comes Mills in bowls. That's attempted turn around the corner by Turner, but that crashed into his pad, and so he'll get a leg bye for that. The umpire did raise his feet, didn't he? Or his leg, I should say. Yes, one leg by. So 1-2-6 for 5. Dark skies around us now. And this is a tense finish ahead. Duckworth Lewis par is 1-2-1. So Leicestershire just ahead of it, but it's those 5 wickets that are the problem for them. Ashton Turner holds the key to this match. Mills kicks up his heels now. Bowls a slower ball that is incredibly wide. See what he was trying to do? He was trying to bowl the wide Yorker, wasn't he? But there was too much emphasis on the wide and too little on the Yorker. Although he got the right length on it.
8 wides, 3 no balls.
Wow.
I don't mean to rub it into Adrian, who had his head in his hands, but
2 overs and, probably 20 runs if you include what's come from the free hit. Mills, big long run-up that starts on the advertising at the bottom of the ground. Comes in, and that's too quick for Ben Green, and hits him in the stomach. And he recoils, does the Foxes captain, but it puts Turner on strike. Got 2 balls left in the over. 16 extras, which I suppose includes a couple of leg byes, but that is and byes, but still.
Yeah, 4 leg bye.
The other scores in a second. It's been a dramatic night in the T20. It was the Roses match, of course, tonight, wasn't it? At Headingley. It's a big skip to start his run-up, does Mills. He's in, bowls. Turner pulls that round the corner for 6! Onto that quickly was the Aussie. And that was a mighty blow. Hooked between the man at fine leg and deep backward square leg for 6 into the crowd. 1, 3, 4 for 5. 46 now needed. And that was a meaty blow from Leicestershire's Aussie player, and that could be a big moment in the game, that. I think he predicted that. 1 ball left in the 14th over. Mills it is, steaming in. He's up to the wicket, bowls a slower ball. It's a much better ball from Mills. There's that full wide Yorker that it's very difficult to hit. That is the end of the 14th over. Jack is going to depart. He will bring you your post-match reaction on BBC Radio Leicester.
Well, I think you've called this correctly. I think if Turner stays, Leicestershire win this game. He's got the key to this match. So Mills has now bowled 3 of his overs. Sussex desperately need to find a couple of wickets here from somewhere.
Yeah, and they just need, really, someone like Green, I suspect, just needs to nudge and nurdle it round, get Turner on strike.
Here comes Danny Briggs. Bowls to Green. Briggs makes a good stop of his own bowling. There's a bit of hesitation between the two. And he probably threw the ball to the wrong end then, did Danny Briggs. However, it is a single. Total goes to 135 for 5. It's only 7.5 and over that Leicestershire need here. They don't need to take any undue risks.
They've done really well. It's very unlike Leicestershire, certainly in this campaign, to regularly keep up the pressure in terms of the scoring.
Briggs around the wicket, bowls to Turner, who leans back and crunches that away through backward point. There's a good shot chasing around the boundaries. Tom Alsop that prevents the boundary, but it's 2 more to Ashton Turner. There's a good contingent of Leicestershire fans here, I'm told, down at the far end of the ground, who have been looking forward to this sort of away trip.
You would, wouldn't you?
Down to the coast.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Don't get to see the sea very often, Adrian.
Here comes Briggs. Bowls. Turner hammers that one away through the covers. That's 4 runs. That's a super shot, and this is rather getting away from Sussex here. That's a super shot. He's absolutely drilled that through extra cover for 4 runs. And this Sussex bowling attack, which has been robbed really of, well, when you think of Robinson, Crocombe, Coles and Curry, who would all have played in this game if they were available. Briggs in again, bowled. Oh, it's hammered that. It's gone miles. Miles and miles and miles. Soaring over mid-wicket. That's out the ground. That's 6 runs. And this is a big over. 13 off of the over already. Still 2 balls to go. And you rather feel that this is, well, not rather feel, this is Leicestershire's game to lose now.
Yeah.
Turner goes to 46. He always was going to hold the key. But that's a huge blow. 147 for 5. And bring out a replacement ball, because it'll take something to find that delivery. And so it's like Sussex going to pay the price for not capitalising on that good start. What they needed was the middle order to fire, which is exactly what Leicestershire have done here.
Just looking at the, I think to illustrate this point, since the 3rd over, Leicestershire have scored 11, 9, 12, 8, 8, 10, 9, 9, 8, 15, 10. And they're going to get more than that. That consistency has been key.
Briggs in again, bowls to Turner, who's hammering that one down the ground to long off, fielded by Ollie Carter, who's happily restored. Look, he got a nasty injury a couple of overs ago.
Yeah.
It was strange. I mean, we were thinking perhaps he'd put his shoulder out or something. It looked really awful.
I was thinking fingers, maybe he bent his fingers back.
Yeah.
That was the thing that I thought as his fingers hit the ground. Or Jack suggested he was winded. I wasn't really
Yes, I think perhaps he was. Here goes Briggs to bowl to Green, who's back and hammering that one away through the offside. They've taken 1. They'll think about coming back for the second. It isn't there because Allsop's there with a good throw. They don't need to take any risks here. Leicestershire, that's 15 off the over. At the end of that over, and Leicestershire are 149 for 5. So they need 32 to win in 5 overs with 5 wickets remaining. And I think Leicestershire will feel that this is a game they didn't really ought to lose from here.
Yeah. And Turner, who's already hit the joint 4th quickest 50 in the game against Derbyshire, has a chance to get the joint 5th here, as he's not facing though at the moment. It's Mills into Green. Great shot down the ground. It's a half volley, and it's gone for 6. Oh, it's 4. 1 bounce 4. Apologies, I also thought it was a 6.
I thought it got, yeah, it looked like it was.
But it was a 1 bounce 4. Must have come inches from the boundary rope. But that was a half volley for Green, and he just chipped it really down the ground.
He did.
For 4 runs. 153 for 5. Leicestershire making quick work of this now. 27 they need. And there's 4.5 overs to go. So 29 balls in which to get it. Goodness me, under a run of ball now. Mills it is. They need wickets, and quick do the Sharks. Bowls, that's edged in the air, but it's going to be safe. Down to 3rd man, and they get the all-important single, which means that Turner is on strike. He's faced 23, hasn't he? Sorry, he got that single at the end of the over, so it would be the joint 7th fastest, joining Budinger and Ackerman.
This is Tamel Mills' last over, and I said before we started, it really did need Tamel Mills to pick up wickets in this match. It was always going to be difficult. But credit to Leicestershire, certainly, and Ashton Turner, who's played really nicely.
He's going at 10 and over, though.
Yep.
Mills into Turner, who drives this uppishly, but it's going to deep cover point out on the boundary rope there. And there is 50 for Ashton Turner. 20, just the 24 balls today.
Good knock, isn't it?
That is his 2nd 50. The first one took 22 balls against Derbyshire, the second 24, and it is the innings that has turned things around. This is what you need from an overseas player. Leicestershire have always struggled with this age and with overseas players that don't really have the power game to win games by themselves, and that is what Turner has done so far. He's been very good with bat and ball, but this is what they brought him in for. Mills, who is going to go over the wicket now, left arm over the wicket, bowls, and Green tries to turn that round. It's going to run away for 4. It's gone through the legs of Simpson, and I haven't seen the umpire signal byes. I
think he signalled byes. I don't think he signalled wides. It's a desperately difficult ball to take though, down the It looked to me like it was down the leg side.
He's given 4 off the bat.
Oh, it was off the bat. Must have got a little under edge or something.
Yeah. I did wonder, because you're right, well, it shouldn't have been byes. It was either off the bat or it was wide, wasn't it? Because it was down the leg side, short delivery that he tried to pull around the corner green, didn't get it. And that's 4 more. 21 needed now, Leicestershire. And that run rate is down at under 5 and over now.
Yeah.
So 4.2 overs remaining. So 26 balls, and they need 21 off it. It is Green who waits. In comes Mills. He bowls. This is a slog up in the air. There's a fielder chasing it. He should get to it and does take it. Green is out. And
I think that's Tom Price who took the catch.
From being overly critical of Leicestershire, I'd say Green didn't really need to play that shot. They'd already got 10 off the over. They could have, he could have just played it out really and played the anchor knock at the other end and let Turner do it. The risk is, the only way Leicestershire lose this game now is if they lose wickets.
Yeah.
And anyone who was at Old Trafford last week and saw them pretty much in exactly the same scenario lose 5 wickets in 11 balls to nearly throw it away will know exactly why you might get a little bit nervous. 6 down for Leicestershire, and they are 159 for 6.
Well, it would be something pretty remarkable. In fact, it was Daniel Hughes who took the catch. So a glimmer of hope for Sussex, but it's really no more than that. 21 needed to win. Loads of overs left, 5 and over, 4 wickets in the bank.
It's wickets or runs, but Leicestershire don't bat. They've still got Holland to come, who's a very good batter.
Yes, yeah, he's bats 3 in the Championship, doesn't he?
And he's a very clever batter. I suspect you said he didn't really want to bat that high.
Scriven can bat as well.
Scriven's a very good bat, so they do have all-rounders to come. Here is Mills from the Cromwell Road end. It's a great Yorker, that, and Travaskis plays the sensible thing and plays that defensively for a dot. So 10 off the over, but a wicket. 159 for 6 is the score. Leicestershire need 21 runs to win this game. They have 24 balls in which to do it. And Ashton Turner is 50 not out.
Yeah, I'm just thinking where Sussex go now for these final 4 overs, because Tamel Mills is bowled out. Danny Briggs has got an over to bowl. Tom Price has got a couple of overs. Danny Lamb has only bowled 1 over so far this evening. Looks like it's going to be Tom Price who's going to bowl. But Sussex need wickets here, and Ashton Turner just needs to guide Leicestershire to victory here, really. 5 and over, 4 wickets in hand. The strike bowler's bowled out. It's a tall order for Sussex, but Tom Price is going to see what he can do. He's bowling up the hill from the Cromwell Road end, comes into bowl to Ashton Turner, and Turner hammers that away through the offside. He's going to pick up at least one. He's going to pick up a boundary. Belted away through the covers for 4 runs, slightly overpitched by Price. I think Turner's pretty keen to get this done and dusted.
And he's doing a fine job of it. You can just tell the difference between a standard sort of county player and that international gun batter, can't you? They find the gaps.
Yep.
They look at the fields, they play their shots and execute them perfectly, and that is what we're seeing from Ashton Turner, 54 off 25.
As the Seagulls start to circle, in comes Price, bowls. Turner plays a similar shot. Is he going to get 4? No, he's not. A good bit of fielding by Tom Alsop. Turner's back for a second run. He goes to 56 on 65 for 6. Leicestershire, so just another 15 that needed to win. And it's no use, I'm not trying to make excuses for Sussex, but being able to sign another overseas for T20 is a big handicap. Previous years they've had Nathan McAndrew, who comes in sort of 8-9 and can, sort of tonk a few runs and take wickets. In comes Price, bowls. Turner hammers that one away. Is he going to get caught? No, the chances. I think he just bounced
in front of him.
Yeah, bounced in front of Tom Alsop for a minute. I thought that was going to carry all the way to Tom Alsop. I think there's Tom Alsop out there. Either way, it's a single too. Turner at 7 off the over, 166 for 6.
It's Yorkshire's day in the Roses match.
They
absolutely wallop them. 106 run win, but for Yorkshire, 107 all-out lengths in response to Yorkshire's 213.
I saw Surrey lost again as well.
Yeah, Hampshire chased down 211.
Yeah, I mean, Hampshire are in good form. I think that's 5 wins out of 6 for Hampshire, or 4 wins out of 5. They're certainly going great guns in the T20 Blast. Price coming to bowl to Liam Travaskis. Around the wicket bowls. Travaskis hooks that one onto the leg side. He's going to run away for at least a couple of runs. All sock fields on that leg side boundary, but 2 more to Liam Travaskis. In fact, 2 to Liam Travaskis. He goes on to 2. 168 for 6. 12 needed to win for Leicestershire.
3.6 the run rate. This is very unlike Leicestershire innings, really. If I was a Sussex fan, I'd be worried by this. Leicestershire are not a team in form.
Price. Around the wicket bowl. Travaskis eases that ball down the ground. Ollie Carter emerges from long onto field, but it's 1 more to the total, which goes to 169 for 6.
Nottinghamshire have beaten Warwickshire. Warwickshire have lost all 5 of their games.
Wow. And in fact, that's Sussex's away game when we resume in whenever it is. We've got 2 county championship matches now, haven't we? Well, Sussex has got another T20 on Sunday.
Yorkshire on Sunday for Leicestershire.
At Race Road?
Yes.
In comes Price and bowls, and Turner nudges that behind. No, he doesn't. Simpson Fields. End of Tom Price is over. 10 off of the over. 169 for 6. So 3 overs to go for Leicestershire, and they need another 11 runs to win.
Off 18 balls, so it should be easily done.
Yep.
From here, particularly with Ashton Turner in 57 not out. So Notts, who've struggled at the start of the campaign too, they've now won 2 of their 5 games. Leicestershire will go on to 8 points if they win this game. Yorkshire, the best side in the tournament by the looks of things, 4 from 5 victories. They're the only team that have got a positive record. As it's going to be Lamb to bowl his second over. The first one went for 9. That's a massive hit from Travaskis, and it's gone for 6 runs. Picked that up nicely, did the left-hander. Full ball outside off stump. It was a swipe across the line, but he timed it to perfection, and it went over towards cow corner. And that means that it is into single figures now. 5 needed for the Foxes. And they've got 2.5 overs to go. What a shot from Travaskis.
Yeah, well, probably feels he's got licence to play that at the moment. Belted away, wasn't it, for 6 runs.
175 for 6 in pursuit of 180. Here comes Lamb. Can they do it in one more blow? Travaskis drives this, and that's racing away through extra cover. It's just going to be 2. They can jog through for the other scores tonight. Gloucestershire beats Somerset.
Who also aren't having it their
West
own way,
Country
are
derby, yeah. They lost to Glamorgan, didn't they, a couple of days ago? And Worcestershire beat Glamorgan by 27 runs.
4 to win.
In comes Lamb. That's hoiked by Travaskis into the gap on the leg side, although it finds its way to long on. They run through for 2, and so that'll mean the scores are tied. 179 for 6. This will do Leicestershire's net run rate give it a decent boost, because it's taken a hammering from their heavy defeats previously. It's -2 at the moment, so this will get it down a little bit. It essentially counts as a point off the rest of their opponents. So Leicestershire need 1 to win. Travaskis 13 off 6. It's a very handy cameo. This will probably be the last ball of the game. The field has come in. Lamb bowls. Travaskis knocks this to long on. They're going to run through for the single. They've made it, and Leicestershire have won by 4 wickets. A second win in a row for the Foxes, who have chased this total down with real professionalism. They kept up the pressure consistently. They never allowed Sussex's bowlers to get on top of them. But for Sussex, Adrian, that must be a really frustrating defeat again. That is 4 defeats in 5 for them. And they look like a team out of form. They look like a team who are struggling to put performances together and build pressure.
Yes, they are. Having won that opening game at Chelmsford, I'm not going to make excuses for Sussex, but I think these sanctions are starting to play a key part in Sussex's season now. Players away with England Lions, players injured, they're very hamstrung, they can't bring in players, and there are players playing tonight who've done their best, but with the full strength Sussex side really wouldn't be in this T20 side. But let's take nothing away from Leicestershire, who've come down here tonight. They've been the better side. I think Sussex will look at this and think they should have scored more than they did. 95 without loss, to only then get 179, again the middle order falling away. That will be hugely disappointing for Sussex, and I think I said 180 was an absolute minimum to give yourself something to bowl at. Well, Leicestershire made mincemeat of that, really. They convincingly won. So well done to Leicestershire. First time that these two counties have played. But a double win for Leicestershire. The women have won by 1 wicket. The men have run, let's be honest, by a little more convincingly.
Yes, it was a bit of a canter in the end. So the Foxes have won 2 and lost 3, and they are still alive in this competition. They face Yorkshire at Grace Road on Sunday. Knowing they could sort of level things up in terms of their record. Let's just run through the scorecard very briefly. You've got good contributions, 25 from Patel, 30 from Kelly, but the main standout batter, Ashton Turner, who batted wonderfully and just took Sussex apart, didn't he? He's got that brute strength, he's got that gun hitting and timing to smash the ball away. Really impressive from Ashton Turner. And as I was saying to you, Adrian, Leicestershire have always just struggled to get that. You look at what Chris Lynn does for Northants.
Yes.
He can come in and hit probably 2 centuries a season. Leicestershire have never really had that, and Ashton Turner perhaps has the potential to do that for the Foxes on a regular basis, and that is a really good innings from him, and Leicestershire will feel a little bit more positive about their season going forward after that. But Sussex, I don't know, but considering they've got that points deduction as well, they have given themselves now absolutely no room for error. Well, they probably can't afford to lose another game, can they?
No, they can't. And, there's still 7 games to go, but they've got a mountain to climb now, Sussex, to qualify for this. And Paul Firebrace wanting the performance at Southampton on Tuesday was a poor performance, no question about that. I think today... as I say, I hate to go on about the players that are missing, but they've had the heart of the side ripped out of it, really, with players away and players injured. So they are. I'm not saying down to sort of the last man standing, but not far off. And there's not too much they can do in terms of changing this side ahead of Sunday when they play Kent, because James Coles and Henry Crocombe will still be away with the Lions. And whether these injured players will be back or not, we'll find out from Paul Firebrace. But let's take nothing away from Leicestershire. Sussex knew the situation at the start of the season. And when you look back at the game, I think they'll feel that they lost the game when they were 95 without loss. It's the 3rd game in a row where the middle order hasn't fired. They simply didn't get enough runs, and they couldn't put Leicestershire under enough pressure, and that's the reason really why they lost the game.
Yeah, and Leicestershire should take some credit too. You are absolutely right, it was those middle overs in the Sussex innings where that game was won, I would suggest. Travaskis and Turner again, the two that finished the game were the ones that probably won it in those overs. They kept it incredibly tight and slowed them down, took wickets, and slowly strangled Sussex as they got towards the end of the innings. So overall, a good trip down to Sussex and the coast for the Foxes. They have beaten the Sussex Sharks by 4 wickets. They have won 2 games in a row in the Blast and will feel a lot more positive about their season. That's just about it from us at Hove. You will hear reaction from the Leicestershire camp on the Talking Foxes podcast. We'll hope to hear from Ashton Turner as well as Alfonso Thomas after that victory. But the Foxes still alive in this T20 Blast. Thank you to Adrian. Jack Rafferty will be presenting that podcast for you as we bring you all the reaction. And from me, Adam Whitty, thank you very much indeed for joining us from Hove this evening. We will hand you over to the Late Show on your Friday evening. From all of us, thank you very much indeed for listening. Goodbye. There we go.